a little dead meme. Fuck you, little bitch. You think you can fuck with me? What am I ring? Fuck you, little bitch. Hey, look, I'm hoping some bread. Fuck you, little bitch. You think you can fuck
Hey, everybody. It's the Snark Tank podcast. It's me. I'm hosting a show. It's another episode of this. We've got everybody who's normally here. We got Derek. We got Sweeney. But we got a guest that a lot of people have been asking for. We got Meat Canyon with us. Finally. This is kind of a long time coming. People have been asking. People have been asking for this for a really, really long time.
Yeah, we've cross-pollinated a little bit.
Yeah.
You've been on my show, Chris. I've screamed a little bit.
Yeah.
And some songs and doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you did a voice for me too. I'm pretty sure, right? I think so.
I think I did. Yeah. For a video.
Yeah.
Yes. That's true.
That's
true.
That is so sad that I can't remember just basic shit that I did this year. I feel like I don't know if this is just me or if this could be a potential like larger thing that most people are experiencing. But I swear to God, I feel like my memory is just getting worse. I don't know if that's just because I feel like I could just look back at my Twitter history and remember shit, or like maybe I could just Google something instead of committing it to memory, and maybe that's why it's so bad. But
absolutely.
Of course,
absolutely.
110%.
I don't know. I feel genuinely way stupider than I was like 10 years ago.
Oh, no, for sure. I don't remember damn near anything.
I feel like I remember stuff, but my perception of time is so fucked. Like, I'll think about, like, being like, man, when I made that video, it was so long ago, and it's, like, 7 months ago. And I'm like, damn, it feels like years and years. So I feel like, if anything, the memory's there, just the perception of time. Like, if time is moving too fast, I feel like, and it makes everything feel like it's so far away.
Yeah.
Do you remember being in high school and thinking that shit was forever?
Yes.
Do you remember that? Like, now, like, 4 years passed by so fucking quickly. I was like, dude, that was high school. What the fuck? It's kind of weird. That's what happens when you get old, though.
Dude, it's wild. I remember high school being such a stressful, like, important time, and now
it means nothing.
Now I just don't remember anything. I remember. I guess like I'm in a unique position because like the friends that I had in high school, like the specific like close group of friends that I had in high school, are still around, like which I don't find all that often. But aside from the times I would hang out with people after school or just before school, or like in lunch, and even most of that I don't remember. Like I can't remember a thing I learned really. I remember very few of my teachers.
I remember moments, a lot of moments.
Moments
that were just
yes,
like unforgettable moments. I'm like, what? This could not be real.
Do you ever watch interviews with people, like celebrities or like animators or directors or whatever the hell, and they're telling stories about their past, and the details in them are so vivid, and like it's like
it's fake. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it has to be
Scripted,
fake, right?
yeah.
There's no way.
Fake. No, I have some memories that are vivid like that. I have like quite a few memories that are like I feel like when I broke my ribs, I remember that vividly. It feels like a cartoon episode. That's why. Or like the time that I saw somebody get punched across a bathroom, like things like that, or be things like I'll never forget. Because it's like that's insane. But like broad like years, people explain years of their life. Like how do you remember that year? 20
There are
years ago? That's
outlandish circumstances that you can certainly remember, but but these people like remember like I remember the first time I met this person who at the time I didn't think would be at all relevant to me, and it's like how could you do that?
Down to like very it gets into the specifics of being like I remember it was definitely in June. It was late at night. I remember cold. And it's like, how do you recollect these things that are passing thought? They're feelings. They're not like. It's not important to the story at all, and that's what makes me feel like it's like typed out beforehand because they're like writing their own story. Like it was cold, and I remembered to this person. You know?
And there were 8 clouds in the sky, and he was wearing a red tie with a blue stripe, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking? I can't remember. I can't remember what I wore like a week ago.
Well, here's for. I do agree with those insignificant, like, if it's not something significant, I remember my first day of middle school. I remember exactly what I was wearing. I remember the dew on the grass, and it was much colder. I remember this specifically because I keep making the argument, I tell people that people aren't noticing that the seasons shift as the years go on because of the axis. And in September, mid-September, it was already starting to get cold, and now it doesn't start to get cold until November. So I'm recollecting like these moments where like I remember and this and then this and for little things like that. And I think it's when stuff counts. But if there's like anything else, I can't remember. Like if you told me pick a random year and tell me to remember something from that year, a specific day, I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I ate this morning. I swear, I can't remember what I ate this morning. I can't remember what I.
That's fucked up.
I can't remember 10 minutes before I came in here. I remember I have an idea what happened.
That's actually like not good at all.
That sounds like you need to get some kind of brain scan or something going.
Nah, dude, it's fine, man.
I do wish I could remember like middle school moments and stuff. The only thing I remember from my past with school, especially like that far back, is just like really piece of shit moments where like you go to school with new clothes or like new binders or something, and you take out that shit during class and you're like looking around, like opening it up and stuff. It's like a nice new, it's all just all the fresh shit you got, being like,
nice little flex.
Yeah, that was a weirdly good feeling, like walking into school with like with like a new notebook.
First day of school with all your new clothes and shit, and you'd be like, I got these new sneakers, and then some kid pukes on them, and you're like, God, man, I hate school.
Yeah, but that's how I felt when I was, I forgot how old I was, but this was probably elementary school or something. But Trapper Keepers were fucking huge.
Oh, yes.
And I just kept begging my mom, like, Mom, she's like, what the fuck do you need that dumbass thing for? And I agree. Now that I'm older, I'm like, what the fuck? It's just designs and shit. It was cool to a kid, but if you're an adult, you're kind of looking at it as like, what is that? That doesn't do anything. Just get a fucking binder and put your paper in it.
I remember my mom would get all freaked out or not freaked out, but she would I would be like, hey, I want to get to school an hour and a half early. She's like, why the fuck would you want to go to school an hour and a half early? Like, why? I don't want to take you there. I'm like, I got to get there. And then you'd walk around the shuffling of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in those fucking metal tins from Walmart. We'd go around. And people going in early and busting it open and be like, oh my God, he has Buster Blade, or he has fucking Buster Blade. All that shit. I remember those times very, very vividly.
I was that
people
kid.
showing up early. I'm like, God damn. I was like, son of a bitch.
I was that kid well into high school.
Well, kids did that. That was the thing to do when you're a kid. And yeah, I remember my mom one time made me go back to bed because I was like, I want to get there extra early because this was like in elementary school, and it was every Friday we were able to bring our toys, and that was like, oh fuck, I can't wait to show people my new shit. I got all these new like Mortal Kombat shit, and then my mom's like, get the I think I was leaving at like 5:30 in the morning so I can get there
already ready to go, packed up and everything to leave.
That's so fucking funny because like I would go to school early, I not even because I wanted to, because like I went to school so far away from where I lived that my dad had to like drop me off before he would like on his way to work super early.
Right.
Otherwise I wasn't going to get there because the bus wouldn't pick me up. So I would be
you're one of those kids.
Yeah, so I would be at school like an hour before like even the buses would show up.
Oh, yeah.
And there would be like the principal would be there, and then like maybe a couple of the staff would be there, and like the teachers would always be like, we got Sims on the computer if you want to like fuck around.
Yeah, dude, you're like one of the morning rats. And all the kids walk in, you're already like settled in and shit, and they're just like, what the fuck?
I've been there.
Putting out your blanket to sit down.
Dude, that's how I played a lot of my first PC games. They had Doom. This is a Catholic school that had Doom on the PC. I don't know.
Oh hell yeah!
But like I played Doom that way. I played Sims that way. It was in New York, like Catholic school. So I mean, it's like it's Catholic.
And
we're
a little
Catholic.
looser than most type deal.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like Kansas.
Like Rudy Giuliani Catholic. Like basically like that.
Yeah.
Sort of
Catholic, but
Just
you
don't be
really
smoking inside and we'll be okay type deal.
Yeah. We had a religion class alongside our science class, but that was basically it.
Yeah, I never had crazy computer games. I think the only game that I played in my school early on was remember when Robot Unicorn Attack was really big, and that was before like schools knew how to like block websites or something like that, or adultswim.com. And then also like the marshmallow game where you're like, it's like there's the squares that fall down and you have to like hop up and the lava rises. Those are like the two things I remember.
Did you ever
really popping up.
Did you ever fuck around with Sky Roads?
No.
It's a really
I don't know what
specific.
that
If you
is.
Google it,
What's Sky Roads?
like it's a very specific thing that like I don't know. It's like from the 80s, I'm pretty sure, because it looks dated as hell. But it was on that PC for whatever reason. I loved the shit out of it.
For me, I played way too much. I played a lot of Math Blaster, like way
Math
too
Blaster
much.
was the shit, bro.
That's why I am unbelievably good at basic arithmetic. Like it's
I'm really
Like, I
good
can
at
just
basic
add.
math.
I can just add numbers really, really, really well.
Yes, dude. There may be something to Math Blaster because I was the
Exactly, you too,
fastest
probably.
person at doing whenever we'd have like sometimes we'd have competitions at school, and it's like whoever can finish this assignment the quickest, and it was usually math, usually division or multiplication or whatever. I was always the fastest, and I think people were puzzled because like I'm like one of the only black kids in the school, and they're like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?"
Did you get prizes? Did you get
Yeah, we would
prizes
get-
for doing the
I
deal?
never got prizes.
Oh,
We
dude,
used to
when-
get-
you would do that. And you would try to beat the clock, and whoever finished the deal within like I don't know, like I think it's like probably 60 seconds or 2 minutes. If you filled out and got it, you got to go to the office, and they gave you like my mascot at our school was a bulldog, and it was like a pin, but the eyes lit up. And I remember it was like such big dick energy walking around, seeing like your friend. You're just like, oh, dude, you're what are you, a bumbling fucking goon? You don't have your pin out and proud here, dude? All right, cool. You're like walking down the hallway. That was such an incentive.
Yeah, we didn't get anything that cool. It was just like
Oh.
bullshit food. It was just like bullshit.
It's always food, isn't it? They
Yeah,
give you like
it's food.
candy and shit. All right, go.
That's exactly what it was. It was fucking candy and one. I got a Applebees, fucking certificate of Applebees, so that was dope. I guess.
Why even give that to a child where it's like, hey, Mom, can I take the car out to go to fucking Applebee's by myself? Or
Yeah.
I'm going to take you out, Mom. We're gonna
Yeah,
have
let
a
me
good
go to
time
this
tonight.
fucking restaurant that
Have a great night, Mother.
I don't know anyone that eats at Applebee's. I don't know.
No, but
it's
so-
not an app.
That's why you always see Applebee's gift cards because they're trying to get people to come to
It's like-
Applebee's because no one goes there
All
naturally.
right, we don't need to talk trash about Applebee's. I mean, we're talking about half price appetizers after 9:30. I mean, it's a fine establishment. It's a fine establishment.
I guess if Red Robin's is closed, if IHOP is closed, then
IHOP?
I guess Applebee's is the place to
Fucking
be. Right?
Red Robin.
Wait a minute. What the fuck?
Red Robin's kind of good, actually. I think
Yeah,
they
hey,
have good.
can I get some of those? Can I get some of those free fries? They give you 3 individual fries with some campfire sauce.
But they're free.
There
so
you
get
go.
3 free fries, dude.
Hey,
Bro, I
be sure
used
to
to
send
do-
more campfire sauce over while you're at it. Thanks,
Those
Red
fucked up.
Robin.
I used to steal their seasoning. That shit was fucking good though.
Dude,
They
they're-
have
yeah,
all
I
the-
mean it's good. It's
the
good. I'm
seasoning
such
salt.
I don't have a refined taste, so I go to any place and they feed me something, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
You guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
But the cheaper it is, the tastier it is. Like when I get Little Caesars pizza, I'm like, you just can't beat a bargain.
Oh,
You just can't.
man.
This is
You're
grade A
talking to-
pepperoni pizza.
You're talking to
I mean-
Chris Reagan, the pizza connoisseur.
Oh, shut
here,
up.
man.
Listen.
The
You're talking
pizza
to these
connoisseur
New York
here.
niggas that are just like looking down on
No,
you now.
no, no.
He's gonna be like Meat Canyon, unsubscribe.
Hold on a
Little
second.
Caesars
Hold
will
on.
give you heartburn no matter what, though. You gotta admit that.
I can appreciate cheap, like nonsense pizza.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
can't.
not the same.
Oh really? Huh?
It's just a very different
can't.
thing. Like I feel like when I'm in the mood for like a greasy, disgusting Pizza Hut slice, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not really in the mood for pizza so much as I'm in the mood for Pizza Hut. You know what I mean?
Like comfort food. It's like a different kind of comfort food. in a
yeah,
way.
it's almost
Yeah.
like do you ever have the
can't do
pizza
it.
flavored Pringles?
Oh yes.
Yeah, those are
Oh,
those.
yes.
So those are delicious,
like
but they're not.
I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, they're never going to be on a register of being like, oh, yeah, you gotta have, you gotta
No,
have that
no, but
type
You
deal.
had
No.
the pizza flavored Pringles?
Yeah.
No,
There-
but
there's
Primo.
there's a specific element in our ape minds that are like, it's just like you want to feel like you're just doing something that's just like a little bit of a piece of shit. You're like, I'm kind of being a gross bitch today, and that's me going into a fucking Little Caesars and getting a little hot and ready pepperoni action. Yeah,
I wish I
That's-
could.
that's
I wish I could get a stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut without the pizza part.
Just want stuffed crust?
That
Can I just have stuffed crust?
Yo, listen. Let me.
please?
That stuffed crust that they have at Pizza Hut is
good.
kind of like crack. It really and it's so much better than the pizza that is just around it. That it.
You mean the fucking piece of paper that's attached to the crust?
yeah.
Why the fuck is the pizza like this thin? And you can't. I was like, can I get a pan crust? Could you make it thicker somehow? Yeah, it's just
Thicken
like
it up,
a fucking
thicken 'em.
thin. Good lord! Especially if you have more than one topping. There's. I mean, you have to. I mean, you have to support the son of a bitch. There's no way.
You can't order pizza from those establishments with more than one one
I can't
topping.
do
It
that.
just overloads it.
I fancy Domino's. I've had so many bad experiences with Pizza Hut because I do like the stuffed crust, but I always have bad experiences with them. I even just recently I went into Target It was last week. It was like a week ago. I went to the Target and I was like, "Oh shit! I've never had their pasta before. I want to try their pasta." Because I've tried Domino's chicken Alfredo, and it's actually okay for the price. It doesn't make sense. And I'm just like, actually try it, and be like, "Oh, this tastes like fucking Olive Garden." It's kind of weird. Like it's okay.
I'm so mad at you.
And Olive Garden is too expensive for the low quality.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So it's like the same quality, but it's cheap. Pizza Hut, I got fucking damn near food poisoning, and I've been dealing with that shit for like the past week, where I just bought a bunch of shit to like regulate my system. I hate Pizza Hut.
That's the tax though that comes with the Pizza Hut. That's like that's the reality check that comes afterwards whenever you make those kind of decisions to order Pizza Hut.
Fair enough. But Domino's is okay though. Domino's is okay.
Domino's isn't bad. The Pizza Hut is the most volatile one.
Pizza Hut hurts.
It's the one that I think of all of the pizza that I could order, of like of local chains out here like Blaze or like fucking, Domino's or Little Caesars. Pizza Hut is the one that I'm like, okay, I could get like a really great crack-addled fucking stuffed crust, but I feel like I'm really flipping a coin as to whether or not I'm going to be in a metric fuck ton amount of pain.
See, I think mine is still. I think Papa John's is still like whenever I'm looking for some like. I mean, Little Caesars is good when it's just cheap, and for some reason you're just like if it's like, $5 is $5 type deal. It's like fine, but if I'm ever like, I think I want it ordered, Papa John's is good, but then you get that garlic butter sauce, which just tops it off. But there's just like the heartburn that comes with it. It's the tax, it's delicious. Yeah. It's shit grease, but it's goddamn, it's good. Love it.
Yeah,
it is pretty good. They have like a 6 cheese that's actually really. I can you throw a lot of cheese on there. I can have fun with the Papa John pizza.
I can't do pizza, man.
You just don't like pizza?
I love pizza. Actually, I adore it, but I just can't.
He's just too New York.
I like if I want pizza, I'm like, I really want pizza, right? And then I get like Domino's, and I'm like, this is just bread.
But you have to separate it.
Are you from New York?
Yeah, I am from New York also.
Yeah. I found a lot of people. I worked out in Brooklyn for a little bit, and I lived in Bushwick, and I found that everybody said that. And of course, I mean, when you're in New York too, though, you're around like some of the best fucking like readily available, like Roberto's. I would go to Roberto's like every other fucking day when I worked like a block away from it, and Roberto's was just awesome. And it's just like great ingredients and stuff, and then like it's like an art form out there.
Yeah,
it is. It is really amazing,
important.
but I think the thing is, it's like you kind of have to. At a certain point, because I love pizza, but like I moved out here to LA, and it's just not as good. It's not the same thing. So, but I love it. So I'm like, all right, I have to make some kind of concession mentally here, where it's like, okay, I'm in the mood for something that's vaguely pizza. What can I go for? And then it's like, okay, Papa John's. All right, fine.
Do you think you'd ever make your own?
We've done it out here several times, specifically because we couldn't find.
Dude. Yeah,
a place.
I don't know. Whenever you're in a region that has really strong, like it has strong vibes for foods, like New York, pizza and stuff. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and it's like a big barbecue place. And sometimes you just want to fucking make it yourself to get some of that. Try to get that homegrown feel type deal. And I do that shit all the time. And yeah, everywhere I've lived, I haven't been able to find barbecue that's as good as Kansas City.
Well, yeah, barbecue is like a really inherently
Midwest.
Like a home.
That's a Midwest thing, man.
People say Texas, but Texas doesn't have shit on fucking on
KC?
Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City's where it's at, man.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I have a lot of family that are from those regions, and nice. they talk about that. And I do like Texas stuff. And there's a little bit of Texas in South Central, just because a lot of people moved. A lot of people from the South. My family on my dad's side, they all moved from Texas, and they're here. And they put like pounds of seasoning and everything, so you're going to be in Flavor Town, but you will have diabetes. It's just the trade-off. That's like you said, the tax.
Pounds and pounds of just red meat, where your heart is just getting. The arteries are getting clogged. You're like
hard sweating.
You're doing that thing where you you're breathing really excessively while you're chewing. Have you ever found that when you're eating garbage food? You're sitting there, you're like, it's like you're running a fucking marathon. Get the meat sweats and shit, and you're just like, damn, that's good, and then you just immediately pass out.
Yeah, it's like
your body's like, we're done.
Your body's got to work on it.
Yeah,
your body's like, yo, we got to fix this up real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but barbecue is one of those things where it's like I've never had good barbecue that I had to order from somewhere. It's always usually like people
Someone's
will
house.
come, or like I'll go to somebody's house. They'll have like the the grill outside, and they'll be doing it themselves. Like they'll be making like a bratwurst on the grill, and they'll do the cut. They'll do the cut in the middle, and it's like, oh, this is so much better than any. Like, where am I gonna go for this? Really,
I feel like barbecue is also, in my opinion, one of the only foods where it's good. Like it's better when you're around people. You're in like it's nice weather and you're outside.
It's
Like
definitely
for
a
some
summer
reason,
kind
it
of
always
food.
tastes better. Yeah, it's just like a beautiful spring, summer, like outside deal. I can't think of a better meal to have than like barbecue.
I feel like that's kind of a lot of maybe. I feel like the only food that I feel like doesn't gain a boost from being outside is like sushi or something. Like, because like
You think pizza has that? Well, I guess
I think
guess you
so.
could walk
I
around
think
with a slice
I
and
think
shit.
so
I guess that's
because
true.
in New York I would do that. Like whenever I was in the city, I would be like, oh, I'll get a slice here and I'll walk around with it and I'll be like eating it. And it's like, oh, this is so nice because you could fold it back then in
That's
New
true.
York. 'Cause
I
it's,
will.
like,
I will
crispy.
say I give a person some sketchy fucking looks if they're at a park, like walking around with a slice of pizza.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a villain.
Over
They're a
here,
villain.
that is a little weird. Over here, that's a little weird.
Who the fuck is at a park strolling slowly through a park eating a piece of pizza with a knife and
just
a
like
fork?
walking
Could you
around.
imagine?
Menace,
Knife and
fucking
fork in it?
menace.
Just
I can definitely imagine that because I've done it several times.
Shot at the fork. Yeah.
for me, moving to California, I realized that I'm not gonna get pizza, so I really jumped onto the Mexican food. And I love tacos and burritos so much. And around here, we live in like LA, and LA has so many unbelievably great like fucking like food trucks that are just insane. Like we go to I think it's Montebello. We go over there, and dude, there's food trucks competing with each other, and they're so cheap, and it's like right down the street, like 10 of them, and you get like $10. You're going home like a king, bro. You're like freaking the Grinch when he stole all the presents. You come home, you can feed the whole family for like $10. It's amazing.
It is really good.
I love it.
It is
absolutely.
good.
That's
I
the
love
that's
Mexican
and that's the when people, and I understand like your guys' sentiment when you talk about pizza versus, because it's the same thing over here where I once went on this tour, this U.S. tour, and the burritos, I got to taste like Mexican food from around the United States, and it was like appalling.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
fucking.
dude.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
I was in the northest, whitest place. I was in Maine, so it's in like the northest east you can
Why
get in the
even
United
why
States.
even open up even like a fucking Taco Bell there? Like no, it's like it should just be strictly lobster. That should be the only thing you can eat in Maine.
Lobster, dude.
Yeah, but
Just
to
fucking
them-
lobster.
To them, like they didn't know. They're like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna get these carne asada burritos," and they were so fucking gross. I was like, "Dude," they were excited. Like the locals were excited. Like, "Oh, we're gonna go get this fucking shit." And I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
they have French fries in the burrito. French fries.
have you fucking?"
Oh my god, it's fantastic. Yeah, you know what's the worst though is whenever people that grew up on the shit version of things, and then you show them, you're like, dude, this is really good, and they try it, and they're like, yeah, I mean, it's all right, it's okay.
That's the
No,
most
that's
aggravating
very
thing
upsetting.
ever, dude.
You have no fucking
Very
idea.
upsetting.
That's so annoying, dude.
Bro, I found a truck by just. I would never think to try it because it's right up the street from where I'm staying right now. It's right up the street off this Manchester and Western, pretty much, and it's you can just see. I was like, I'm just gonna try this truck. It's just right there, and it's the best Mexican food I've ever tried. And I was like, this is. Am I crazy? Is this? Am I? Because why would it just be here and nobody? There's no huge lines. So I was like, this is dope. And my homie that actually he's in the industry. Like, he goes to Compton, all these different places, and then he was just kind of, like, had to concede that, like, oh, yeah, this actually is fucking amazing. I can't believe this shit. And I'm fine with them getting business, though, because I'm moving the fuck out of L.A. pretty soon. So, you know, I'll blow up the spot. I don't give a fuck if anybody wants to try that shit.
All the
Yeah,
best
dude.
I feel like all the best Mexican spots too are just like unknown. You'll
Holes
have
in
a
the
tab
wall,
that's
bro.
like you'll have like a tab that's like $12, and you have like 2 pitchers of margaritas and shit, and just like downed a bunch of stuff. It's like $12. Like it's always just some like really cheap, just good, just fucking really great atmosphere type stuff.
Yeah,
Look, if
atmosphere
you
is a
get
big
Mexican
part of it
food
too.
And they're cooking with their hands. Look, if you get Mexican food and they have gloves on while they're cooking, that's not the place to be. They gotta not
That's when
have
it's like-
gloves on.
Hey, spit on that. Cough on that
That's when you
burrito
get-
real quick.
They
You're
gotta
being too
dig
healthy.
in.
Get
They
that
gotta get the
fucking glove
asada,
off.
throw it on the griller themselves, man. If they have gloves on, you be like, I'm gonna get out of here. Have a nice night, though. Y'all take
If
care.
I
And
can't
that's it.
read your fingerprints on this carne asada, I'm
Ah,
returning.
this is the wrong
I
place
want to know
be.
who made it. I want to get in touch with the person, little Men in Black type thing.
I want to taste who
You
made
see,
it.
like perfectly pressed on there.
Dude, I don't
That'd
know.
be great.
It's wild just how food could just like define a place like that. Like,
Absolutely.
because when I was in New York, like I was definitely not eating Mexican food. You know, I was just like, what the fuck? Why would I even bother with that? like,
I
what's
like an
the?
idiot.
I'll tell
I
you,
would try it.
in New York, I remember there was this place in Bushwick. I think it was called Guacoco or something, but it was like this Brazilian place, and it was the best fucking Brazilian food I've ever had. Like the best plantains. It was just amazing. I mean, it was a pretty happening spot, but it was just, you know, like catty corner. It's like a fucking bodega and like kind of just like a little hole in the wall thing too. But it was awesome. But yeah, no, I didn't get any like. I don't think any. I think I actually solely survived on like bodega, like what is it? Boar's head. What's the meat out there?
Boar's
Yeah,
head.
Yep, it's
That's the
boar's
only
head.
kind I buy still, actually. I have a bad habit of
Fucking-
only buying boar's head.
Boar's
Like,
head
what kind of meat do you
sandwiches. Yeah, boar's head. Yeah, you know which one.
You know.
Boar's head sandwiches, fucking pizza, and like plantains and like black beans from like guacoco type stuff.
It's just crazy how it affects even just the fast food versions of those things too, though, because like Taco Bell out here is it's pretty bomb, honestly. Like it's pretty reliable. In New York, I
It's
can't.
dreadful, dude.
I couldn't.
Dude, same with McDonald's in New York. Any fast food place in New York, I feel like sucks dick.
Yeah.
Like real bad.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's
Yeah.
very bizarre, but like even like I remember having Chipotle out here, and it's like, oh, Chipotle in LA is pretty good. Yes, I like it. I like
That's
this place.
weird, dude.
But in New York,
That's
Chipotle's
weird.
fucked. Like it's
Bro, that is so weird. Yo, okay, the first time I ever had Chipotle was in New York, and I was like, this place sucks dick.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
I didn't eat
Bad perception.
Chipotle for almost a decade later.
oh my god.
And then I was like, oh wait, this is fucking actually really good.
yeah.
Dude, they have the
every-
best tortillas. I tell people, fuck your local places, get your tortillas, get your chips, your tortilla chips from Chipotle, and then get your tacos or whatever from wherever else. Because whatever they do is like fucking
Yeah,
witchcraft.
the lime and shit.
They have
put
the
on
lime.
The lime with a little bit
yeah.
of salt,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
It
it's
fucking,
great.
it's perfect. The
Little
perfect
zing.
balance.
Yeah.
I like the
will
hot
say-
chips
They're great.
I like the really hot chips that they give you at like places like Chili's. I don't know what it is about those specifically.
Hot chips.
Like yeah, like
spicy chips?
No. They come out. I don't know if they make them there. I assume they do.
Oh, they're just like
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, you mean they're like-
you grab them and you're like, what? Oh,
yeah, and
like,
they're
oh, I
and they're
didn't
and
know-
they're
yeah.
really hot, and they're like ooh.
Yeah, they're probably- they
dip it in
probably
some
make them
spinach
there.
artichoke dip or some shit, and you're like, oh damn.
Spinach artichoke is
Yeah.
fucking bomb. But
The I will say one thing that I've noticed from like even just being coast to coast, and it's interesting. I mean, obviously, if you're by the coast, you're gonna get like better seafood. If you're in the like basically in the Midwest, you're gonna get better beef, all that stuff. When I went to Fairbanks, Alaska, and I had the best fish and chips I've ever fucking had in my life, and it was like insane, and it's just like it just makes you think like I feel like I want to go all around, especially I want to go to like Louisiana and shit and try like or even just like
Gumbo,
that kind of
bro.
southern
It
belt
hits
and do like
different down there.
yeah gumbo like jambalaya all that shit.
how much have you traveled?
I mean, I've traveled quite a bit. I've moved around a lot too. Like I've lived a lot of places, just trying to find work and stuff, and then just what happened. But I mean, like all around America, definitely. And I've never been to any country besides Canada though, other than America.
Yeah,
So I still have never been to like Japan. I know Japan. I feel like it's a big one with a lot of people I've been talking to lately. But I went to Vancouver, Canada, and that is still probably the most beautiful city I've ever been to in my fucking life. Like insane, great people, great food. It was just awesome, beautiful. I don't know if you guys have ever had the opportunity to go to Vancouver.
Not-
Be sure to check it out.
no.
Not yet. I almost did it, and then I think me and my friend just forgot. We were like, oh yeah, let's just fucking go, and we planned it out, and then it just didn't happen, and no one asked each other like, hey, why didn't we do it? It just slipped us by.
I've
was
been to
something where
Toronto
I-
a few times. That's about it.
Toronto. I've wanted to go to Toronto, but
It's cold as
yeah,
fuck.
Vancouver was just
terrible.
one of those things where it was just like I was there for like a job interview back in the day, and then I had nothing really to do. I was there for 3 days, and I didn't really know what to do, but I had that one thing going on. And then the public transportation was just so good that it was just so easy to get places and explore the city itself. Mm-hmm. And it was just a really enjoyable experience. It was just really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had that experience of going to another city and not just immediately complaining about things because it's different.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
like when the first time I went to New York, I was just like, I don't know how these savages live like this. This fucking, I was like, I don't know how the fuck people live in this goddamn city type deal. And it takes some time to, like, you be like, oh, you find it, you appreciate things, but whenever you first go to new cities, I feel like you just like insult the city immediately.
Oh, yeah,
We
no.
moved to
Got a
California.
fucking
Holy
Walmart.
shit. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
The first time we moved to California, me and Chris lived together, and we've known each other since we were like in like early college, and we first got here. And every time one of us would go out, we'd come back and just complain about how stupidly laid out everything is.
Yeah.
And I still hate California with all my heart. I hate this place. I hate it.
Especially LA.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here at all anymore. But like,
Yeah, it's not about
It's
California
just
so much as it's
LA.
about LA
That's
specific,
true.
and the way that it's
Yeah.
laid
It's
out.
literally just LA.
because San Diego is amazing. I love
Even
San
San
Diego.
Francisco. I enjoyed San Francisco too. I've been to San Francisco and it was like it had good perks. San Diego was great. Carlsbad. My aunt lived out in Carlsbad, and that was like a chill little area too, in between like San Diego and LA and stuff. But LA is just it's just a pit.
It's a
pit
goddamn
of despair.
It's the issue with LA. Is that it's New York, but without the convenience of that makes New
Exactly.
York function. Whereas like San Francisco is like when I spent a couple days in San Francisco, and I was like, this place is kind of awesome. Like just like the way that it's laid out, and just the weather there, because you kind
The
of get
weather's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
you get-
you start getting like
It's seasoned. It's mild seasons. That's why it's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, and there's like
Great-
really
great-
really
yeah.
great food up there too. Like it's a pretty cool place. I don't think I would have minded staying there for way longer, but and San Diego's the same, where it's like, oh, this is a really cool place to be, but
San Diego's on the brochures
San
that they
Diego's a lot
show you
better.
for California.
Yeah,
You see
exactly.
LA, they're like, oh, this is going to be what LA's like. And it's like, no, that was actually San Diego. That's way further down. You're in this cesspool where some guy's sitting on the floor pissing right now. And you're like, God damn, I hate this place.
that's it. That must be it, because it's like, yeah, when I came to Los Angeles, I was expecting San Francisco and San Diego, but I got,
Oh no.
the Hollywood Walk
no,
of
every-
Fame.
When I lived in Burbank, I really didn't mind Burbank as much when I first moved because it was so suburbanized that it felt like kind of like a hometown kind of feel. And then I could kind of branch out. And then from there, I mean, I was just I don't really go out too much or anything. Or I didn't really know anybody at the time when I lived there. So when I would go out, I'd literally just go to Amoeba Records, look around, get like records, and then I would go to the Rainbow and just get drunk next to the Lemmy statue and shit, and just be like,
I know
oh.
exactly what you're talking about.
I was like, I was like, yeah, hell, like just getting like, so that was my experience. So I enjoyed it to a point, but I think that you see the way some people like live in LA with just like the budget you have, and you're just like, it's just not worth it, man. It's just not worth it.
It's pretty rough. Like, because we lived in Glendale when we first moved out here, and Glendale is
Awful. It's
this
the
is
worst.
a very localized conversation, but like,
Yeah.
Glendale is just a remarkably strange place where nobody can drive. I've seen people crash their cars into the ground.
I don't even know how that's possible.
What does that even mean?
So because if you've ever been to Glendale, maybe you've seen this, but like,
Yeah, I used to work there.
But oftentimes the way that certain stores or certain parking lots are built is that they kind of curve down into the street, and
Right.
then the street is flat. So people will speed out of parking lots
and just hit that
and
shit.
just into the ground, and then just keep going. And I've seen it so many times that I've lost count, and only there, never in like LA proper, never in Burbank, never in
God.
anywhere. Just Glendale specifically is just full of just street
Do you
racers.
think California has the worst driver? What state do you guys think has the worst drivers?
It's California, Florida, or freaking what you call it, like California, Florida.
The worst drivers?
Oh,
I still
Glendale?
swear by Kansas. Kansas has the worst fucking drivers. It's almost
I
as
think
if,
New York
like,
has some pretty bad drivers too.
they have no fucking perception of like the reality that's around them.
But I would say
like it's
Cali.
like I've like people are just like drifting, like highway going 80 miles an hour, just like drifting around, and you're just flabbergasted.
it's
It's a weird thing.
No, I a couple years ago, I think I would have said California, but I think because I drove to LA from New York with a friend of mine, and we took that drive. We made it in like 3 days. It was like a really exhausting day. I had like $200 to my name. I think it was really bad. But when we got to Kansas, it felt like the world stopped. And we were
100%.
like we drove for hours and hours on end, but it still feels like 70+% of that drive was spent in Kansas because
Kansas is the worst state to drive through. Like 100%. Like people are like, Nebraska, you have corn to look. Kansas is like purgatory. You're like like there's no perception of time. There's nothing at all. Nothing.
It really is.
Except porn. The Lion's Den, fucking strip clubs and porn things. That's the only thing they advertise on the side.
It was genuinely one of the most traumatizing experiences. Like,
it's fucked,
because
man.
because there would be these long stretches of time where I would drive and I would see a billboard, and then I would see like almost like a small town, but it was laid out like a strip mall. And it was these long connected buildings, but only 2 long connected buildings that go down really far.
It's
and I'm
like
oh.
it's like a town of like 80 people that live there off the side of a fucking highway.
Madness,
and then
there's billboards of like anti-abortion stuff. You're going to hell, all sorts of things. And you're just like, yeah, LA, here I come.
No,
here I go.
No, but what makes it worse is that you see the billboard, and then you see the town, and then you drive for another 30 minutes, and you see a billboard. And you see the town again, exactly the same layout, exactly the same architecture, sometimes exactly the same fucking stores. And it's like, okay. And then it happens again and again. And it's like prefabricate. It's like a prefab almost, where like somebody
like a Twilight Zone episode or some shit.
I was gonna say the same thing, but that guy was he was dead. He was driving by the angel.
Dude, I was losing my shit. I was like, I kept turning to Jalen. I was like, Jalen, Are we going in circles? And it's like, no, we've been on a straight line. It's been a straight line. I was like, we saw this place 3 hours ago. We can't. I refuse.
And there's never anyone else on the road.
No.
That's the other craziest thing. You very rarely pass by anybody. So you really do. I mean, like, there's been times where I've driven through it. I'm just like, this is like, I think that I died somewhere like 4 hours ago. And like I am in like in a Twilight Zone episode.
We almost
where I'm trying to like find God at this point or some shit. Drive into heaven with my Toyota Camry or some shit. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
93 Corolla.
And then when you start seeing the wind turbines and you know that you're getting closer to Colorado, it's such a good feeling. You're like, oh god.
Yeah, because it just means
Thank the Lord.
It's just a change in scenery that means that purgatory is
At least
over.
I have mountains now. Jesus Christ.
Or even just a sign that says Denver, 450 miles away. You're like, that's good. I like to see that. That's fine. That's nice.
I almost died in Kansas too because like I don't know what the fuck weather that was, but it was just fog, but the most dense fog I've ever seen anywhere. Like it's Stephen King's fog shit, like type shit. It was, you couldn't see. I'm not exaggerating. Like a foot or two ahead of the car was just completely unseeable. And I was just like, I had to like lean up to see like where the line on the road was because I couldn't see far enough ahead. And I was like,
that's insane.
I was turning to Jalen. I was like, I'm terrified. I want to stop. I want to stop this car.
It's also bad tornado valley there too. The amount of times that we've been driving through Kansas and the amount of times, and people are so used to tornadoes that it's like, oh yeah, whatever. I remember I was at this gas station and everybody had to like get in the ditch because the tornado's coming. This fucking guy came in, classic Kansas dude, Confederate flag on his fucking big deal, comes in, rolls in, redneck dude. He's just like, what's good? Damn, probably gonna be a tornado happening. I'm like, yeah, like everybody's in the ditch and stuff. He's like, all right, and he like, I remember he filled it up real quick and he's like, all right, well, good luck, and he like drove towards the storm. And I remember this specifically because I thought it was so funny because he like put it in. It was that fucking Toby Keith song where it's like, well, I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city. That song, and it like just sped off into the fucking storm. I was like, oh, there he goes.
Even though that person thinks so lowly of me, there's something admirable about him that I just
no, there's not. There really isn't. You would think you think at a point just because it's so stupid that you're just like, oh hell yeah, attaboy. You spend like half a millisecond more with that person, and you're just like, oh, okay. You're like, all right. That's usually the typical experience.
It's just like this man just drove toward a tornado, man. He's clearly got nothing he's here for.
Oh man, apparently not. The amount of times I've seen people drive towards an actual touchdown tornado has been like haunting as a child, to where it's desensitized me towards the actual danger of a tornado. I saw a man on a motorcycle. And everybody was pulled over on a fucking motorcycle. And the thing about tornadoes, I don't know if you guys have been around one, but it's like the air is very still and it's like
Yeah.
the sky's kind of like a greenish yellow tint. It's very odd, but it's very still. And I remember it was, you can like hear people talking. Like if some of these people are pulled over, you can like hear other people. It's so quiet. And this guy just like speeds to this intersection down the highway, and he's like popping this wheelie going on a fucking Harley going down the highway towards this tornado. And my dad was like, "The dumb son of a bitch," like in a movie. And I was like, "What the?" It's like it's just one of those things. So I feel like at this point you're just like, "Yeah, it's tornado.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Wind circle. No one cares." Type deal. And then
I've
you hear
never
about it, it's like, oh,
experienced
he lost his house to a tornado, and it's like this whole town's ruined. And you're just like,
I
damn.
love seeing
nope.
tornado aftermath movies where you like look at it and like there's only basements left. There's no
Yeah, just-
houses, and it's just
there's
like, yo, they
basements.
took your house. People find their houses dropped somewhere else in town, and it's like, what the fuck? It took your house and just dropped it somewhere.
That
It's
is
like,
such a-
yeah,
that is
it
such a-
steals your home.
That is such an insane premise for a type of natural occurrence. That like that is just the definition of a tornado is insane to me, because like obviously like I've never really had a tornado experience. Like I saw one while we were driving across through Kansas. We saw one like real far, and it was obviously a tornado because I've never seen anything that looks like that. But we were far enough away that it was like we probably don't have to worry about it. It's like way to the left, like probably like dozens and dozens of miles away from us. But the fact that like you could look at something that far away and it looks so minuscule, and you understand that like where that thing is touching down is absolute chaos. It's just it's a very weird experience to even just think about.
That's just
But-
wild to me.
Could you even on a motorcycle? You just get lifted the fuck up at that point,
Easily
right?
taken away, bro. Cars get
I mean,
taken away,
if
bro.
it's strong enough.
Anything. If you go anywhere near the fucking tornado, you're getting hurled up. You'll spin around with it, and they'll take you up, and it'll shoot you out the top. Is how it just. Whoop,
That is
there you go, and you're dead. There it goes. I mean, anything that's past it. I mean, it's crazy, man. I don't know how the fuck it happens.
It's just
but
really angry wind running around really fast. It's Crash
It is.
Bandicoot spinning really, 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 really fast.
It's funny because like in
Tasmanian devil.
it's funny because like it's just such an alien concept in New York, because like I'm sure like Sweeney, you would remember seeing like those little leaf tornadoes that would go around,
And I was
Like
like,
when-
that's cool.
and he'd be like, "Whoa, a bunch of leaves are like swirling on the ground."
That thing takes your house.
Yeah,
I was kicking because I'm like, haha, look how small you are.
yeah.
In New York, was it
Weak
ever?
wind cycle.
Is New York ever susceptible to like what? Not
Hurricanes.
Is it
Natural
hurricanes?
disasters.
We
Oh,
get
okay.
hurricanes, bro.
We get
Bad
hurricanes
sometimes.
and we get blizzards.
hurricanes
Are
are-
Yeah, I know the East Coast is fucked with like winter like especially Boston. The amount of like stories, like I lived in Utah for a little bit at this solar company, and my section of the place I worked at was people that had solar panels in Boston, and like I want to say like a couple of years ago they had like a power outage because of the weather and just like the increasing amounts of snow for like almost 2 months or something, like something crazy.
Insane.
Where you're just it's totally fucked. I don't know.
It
And
gets.
I've been thinking about moving to New Hampshire, like actually like buying like a house in New Hampshire. And every time I hear these stories, people are like, oh it's beautiful, hard winters. It's like oh it's beautiful, period, and then just hard winters.
Real tough
I'm like,
winters.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to live anywhere like where the weather can destroy me. And I even think about like I've thought about this for a while. Like where should I move? Say like where would I want to hang my hat? And it's something where it's more neutral. And I thought about, a lot of people are turned off by like say the desert states. But when I lived in Arizona for a while, and there's just those 3 months of extreme heat, but you really don't experience it because everything has air conditioning. It's so little that it's like, oh, I think I can handle this. And then I started like looking into it, and I'm like, the worst is like little monsoons or some shit. And that it doesn't do anything though. It's not like say here in California where I'm like, I got to get out of here before the tectonic plates destroy California. It's going to happen
Fires, all sorts of shit.
at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I should leave before it happens, because like I always say the tornado people are just absolutely just mental for, oh, my house is completely destroyed, we will rebuild. I'm like, why are you? No, move, leave.
Yeah, but
Fucking leave.
it's a hassle. And you gotta go find out. You might as well just build on top of the spot. Yeah, we had a good spot.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen again pretty soon.
I think the thing that puts me off with desert states, especially like Nevada, well, fuck, I mean, like Las Vegas is like the worst, like one of the worst cities I've ever fucking been to. What a trash city. I hate that place. But I think it's just like the lack of life. It's like so, the whole area, like desert states are just so devoid of life. And it's just like dirt and rock. And I mean, aesthetically, there can be cool things, but to me, there's like some kind of like, I live in Portland right now, and it's just green. It's just like you feel like you're just around life. It's just like it's like a weird psychological thing where you're just like, this is nice. This is tranquil.
So
Oh no, totally understandable. That's what my mom. She lived in Arizona for a while, and she tried to basically turn it into like an oasis. Where she was in Arizona, she was there, and she laid out all of her grass, put all these trees up and shit. And I'm like, why'd you move here? Like I get it. It's super. It's really the only thing that people are. It's so inexpensive. That's all it is. I remember when I first moved there. I think back in 2008 or some bullshit, and I was working for Amazon, and my boss was like, "Oh yeah, I have a 5-bedroom house. I think my mortgage is like, I don't know." She said like 800 or 900. Yeah. And I was just like, I wanted to punch her. Just so I was like, that is so disrespectful to hear, coming from fucking California.
Why did you rock me in the face? It's just those prices. Those goddamn prices. Someone had to do it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I don't know where you could
live in deserts. I couldn't do it.
What?
I'm probably going to I'm gonna leave California because I have to eventually, so I don't become a fucking maniac and do something wild. But
do you think you'd move back to the East Coast or
never? I'll never live in New York City again, ever. I hate that place. but I would say I would live I don't know, maybe in Maryland, or take the plunge and go to Florida or some shit.
You would go to Florida? You're a
shit.
Florida is the worst, guys. I know Florida's the worst.
Everything sucks in Florida.
I know Florida's the Iraq of America. I get it, but it's so cheap. It's so unbelievably cheap living here.
No. Sweet,
by the
that's
time
insane.
I move over there, it's probably not going to be cheap. Though.
Go to Montana.
You might as well go to the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah, go to Montana, dude.
Midwest is not
Montana's actually kind of expensive, dude.
A suburb outside of a city, you get the cheapest shit, and then you're a 10 or 15 minute drive from hip stuff. It's like
the thing about the Midwest is that they're like, I want to go to Florida because I know Florida is full of insane bullshit, but that's gonna be entertaining. Every day I get the paper and man gets his dick trapped in alligator's mouth.
You're never gonna be able to.
You can read that.
You can read that. I just want to. I feel like Florida would be a nice place. I feel like it'd be a nice place to be.
I used to go to Florida every summer. I hate everything about Florida
because my aunt lives in St.
the bugs are.
Petersburg.
Hold on, Sweeney.
The
bugs are bigger than your face.
The bugs are bad.
The bugs are bigger than your fucking face. That's already enough to a locust will fit in your hand. They're so fucking big. They're so stupidly big. The bugs. The humidity. You'll fucking start sweating immediately.
I'm used to humidity,
this is
though.
some shit.
I understand that.
You're not used to humidity.
Dude,
Florida humidity. You're not used to the southern humidity.
No,
Derek.
I'm Jamaican, bro. The Florida humidity is nothing compared to the Caribbean humidity. It's a different. It's a devil.
So you lived in the Caribbean.
Particularly, I spent summers there, and it's bad. It's bad.
You spent summers there. You're talking about living.
Not all year. It's gonna be crazy
a huge
bad.
Difference.
It's not gonna be bad all year. But I understand.
I'm not even done yet. I'm not even done yet, man. The fucking weather in Florida.
The sun rain, bro.
Always fucking no. It's
crazy.
It's sunny. Partly, it rains so fucking much in Florida. And then you have to deal with harsh-ass weather like hurricane. There's threats of fucking hurricanes all the time. Dude, it's not fun. People that live there, they usually commute there to they usually go there to retire because they're old and senile, or they're there for work. And that's it.
Old and they're thin blood, so they're cold constantly.
Oh, yeah, so they're like,
the thing with the desert states is just a bunch of old fucks walk around being like, God, it's kind of chilly.
Well,
I saw a man in Las Vegas with a wool sweater on when it was 112.
Well, he was
just
gonna die.
Just open the coffin and step on in because you are not fucking human. You are on your way out. That is fucked. Wool sweater.
Right,
he's dead.
Las Vegas.
Dead. Come on.
Las Vegas is a fucking bizarre. I had a really good time for the 3 days that we spent there, but I just imagining living.
Well, here's the deal.
Place.
I think Vegas gets a bad rap because people that visit Vegas only go by the Strip. They don't see Vegas suburbs. That's a lot of people live. Actually, my aunt, she had an apartment in Vegas, and it was actually pretty normal. If you step anywhere near the Strip, then it's fucking just, why would you live anywhere near there? But a lot of people live in Vegas. I mean, a lot of people that I know, like musicians.
There's a suburb thing, but that's what makes it so odd, though. Is like it's like you're trying to have like, all right, yeah, hey, have fun at school, and then like you're living next to a giant scratch card at all times. You know what I mean? It's like it's just like it's just such a fucking subversion of like, to be in Las Vegas and even to know what Las Vegas is and try to live a normal life or like raise somebody there seems odd. My friend,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine going to school in Vegas.
my friend is so diluted. He like has he grew up in Vegas and he loves it and he swears by it. But I'm like, I feel like if you lived anywhere else, you would go back to Vegas. Like, especially when people like the first time you ever move out of state or take a drastic move, you always have those like homesick things of being like, oh, this was so much better, this and that. Then you go back and you're just like, this actually all just kind of sucks.
That's what I feel about
Really,
New York
really
City,
bad.
dog. I feel that about New York City,
Yeah.
100%. It's so convenient getting everywhere. That shit is so convenient. But dude, as I've gotten older, I got really like not okay with people just like adamantly like just not watching where they're going. And being in Manhattan, that shit sets me off. Where people just bump into you and they have a chance to say excuse me. Like I say excuse me all the time.
Why
when
the
I'm
fuck
walking
would you
through-
say excuse me to anybody? What is wrong with you? What is
People
that?
don't say excuse me in downtown Manhattan, bro.
You're not supposed
Just
to.
bump into you. People walk into you, and I'm like, yo.
Oh, Chris, see,
Please say
I
excuse me.
disagree. I have that Midwest mentality where you say sorry over everything.
No.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me
I hate it.
let me get past you.
that, bro.
You gotta
know
get
what?
you
You
gotta
would like
get
fuck-
you gotta get going.
No, that's some bullshit. That's some
Everybody's
bullshit.
in their own
I
fucking
hate
bubble.
that. I hate
There's this
that
guy.
shit.
There's this guy with like this pus-filled, infected leg selling granola bars on the train, and no one was looking at him. And I know that it's like probably. I mean, it can't be a gimmick. I mean, the guy's leg was fucked. But I mean, I was just like, you know, you have like all these people and they're just in their own zone, and then they get up and they do their own thing, and I'm just like, hello, hi, you know, like, how are you? Type of deal. It felt odd.
I'll forever remember a specific instance where I bumped into somebody else in Manhattan. I remember this is actually just like we were talking earlier, like a very vivid day. I remember it was like July in like 2012, and I was going to like around. I was heading out of Grand Central like towards the Javits, and I was walking. I had to go somewhere, and I bumped into this guy, and I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Yeah," and we just kept going, and it was just like, wow, I love this. Because it's just because it's not like because I clearly
that fuck up my whole day.
No, because
That would
fuck up my
make me
whole
furious.
day.
You just guys like being cunty. That's all.
no,
it
it's
is.
not cunty. It's just
He
like
just
look,
said yeah to me. I'm gonna punch him in the back of his head.
What? It's just like it's look. We have places that we're trying to be. We're trying to get there as fast as possible. Shit happens. It's not like I fucking tackled you to the ground and stole your wallet and pissed on your kids.
The whole thing though,
how
the whole
fast?
thing of being like, I got places to be. I'd be like, what kind of fucking like underground like stock market trading are you doing to where it's you can't even be like, oh hey, sorry bud, that's it. That's all I want. And some
I'm
guy
a
said,
big
yeah.
dude. I've been a big dude for like since I've been like 18. I've been like a big guy, right? I always try to avoid people, and if I avoid them, I'm like, oh, I'm very sorry about that, and I keep it moving, right? There's no reason why some small motherfucker should bump into me and then get mad at me when I'm so visible as a person.
But that's the thing.
So that
Nobody
gets me
should.
so angry because they don't even say
Nobody
I'm
should
sorry.
be getting mad at you. That's kind of the thing. It's like they should just be like, hey, you know.
They're like,
they should
hey,
just keep
watch
going.
you walking, and I'm like, yo, say it again, and you'll be in the street.
There's an
with a car on top of
etiquette.
you.
There's an etiquette to the city that a lot of people like if they're not like from there or they haven't spent a lot of time in there, they just don't understand. Like you're not supposed to like stop in the middle of the sidewalk to look at your phone and like see
Yeah,
where
you
you're
gotta
going.
like keep
Oh, yeah,
moving.
that's-
and
Go
shit.
go off to the side, off to the wall or like onto the curb. Like you don't like. There's like traffic rules almost on the
At
street.
the same time, I always got annoyed though with those etiquettes when it's just like you live in the most like touristy fucking part, like touristy city on earth and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
Where it's like you
People
have so many people coming in, and it's like,
Well, they're not happy about it
you're
either.
yeah. well.
That's why people
You know.
people from not Manhattan hate Manhattaners, and then Manhattaners despise foreigners. They despise
true.
people who are foreign.
That is
They're
true.
like, yo, why are they just standing, bro? I'm trying to get to the M&M store. Please move out the way.
I don't understand how you could possibly choose Florida over anywhere though. Like that might be the most ridiculous
Yeah.
thing you've ever said
Well,
on the
Florida's
podcast, and you
insane
said
because
ridiculous
Florida's
shit.
insane. That's why it's so unbelievably cheap, dude.
Yeah, so you want to just torture yourself?
Yeah, but
It'll be funny.
there's tons of cheap living though, and you wouldn't have to subject yourself to like. There's something about having like I like watching, you know, some like cringe every once in a while or some fucked up shit on the internet, and then you get to like take a step back and you're like, damn, I'm kind of maybe I'm a bad person for watching that. But then I get to have I don't have to be around it. Like that's the comfort of the internet. Versus like you live somewhere that's nice and it's nice and wholesome. Yeah, you live in a nice Christian town or something. Some old woman, you like walk up with your groceries and some old woman's just like, how did you like my cookies or something? And you're like, yeah, it was great. And you just go inside and watch like 4K videos of just like people shitting in like sinks or something like that. Who knows? But you have that comfort, and you have the prices of that situation, and you have the old woman's cookies in this situation.
That was when we were upstate New York, dude.
The notion that Florida is very believably cheap. It's very
yeah. Well, you'd be like, yeah.
Well, look. Here's the thing though. Florida is in the way that you can get away with the same thing, and this is what I mean. Like in California, there are outskirts. There's always those outliers.
That's true.
There's places in like the Inland Empire that are fucking pretty inexpensive to live in California if you want to stay in California. But and the same thing kind of goes for Florida. If you're not moving to Orlando or Miami or fucking like one of those big ass cities, then you have to live in the outskirts or somewhere, and then it's like, so then it just kind of comes to, okay, what your weather preference, just location. You just want to be there because it feels good, like what is it exactly? Yeah. And it just seems like to you it feels good because it's fucking wacky. I don't think it's the best decision to buy a house for that reason. I don't think it's the best.
But in all seriousness, I'm probably thinking like Illinois, like Chicago seems like a nice place. Like
I have family that live in suburbs of Illinois. It can be good. Chicago can be pretty rough.
It has one of the highest tax places, dude. Why the fuck would you? Why would
really?
you live there?
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
That was one reason I was thinking about moving to Austin just for the tax purposes to see, because also that's why I said New Hampshire too as well, because there's no income tax in New Hampshire as well. But I don't think I could forever. Well, I don't think I could buy a house in Austin and like take that Texas heat forever. I sweat maple syrup. I'm just this disgusting fucking piglet walking around in hot weather, dude. I can't take it. So I have to have the cold seasons. I don't mind the cold whenever it's just you have to deal with this shit. So
yeah,
you know what's funny?
I can't do it again.
I was considering snow. Well, yeah. I don't know if I
never leave
I don't
though.
think I ever want to.
Like I'm making cartoons or I'm animating, so I don't have to drive anywhere. So I can't remember the last time I've driven in snow versus like being like, oh, it's snowing out.
Yeah. Driving in snow is rough. I had to do that.
It's fucked. Yeah.
I had to do that in the last year. Like one of the times that I went back to New York, we had like a crazy blizzard, and I was like, I was driving this fucking. Oh my god.
We did it all the time.
What did I rent?
Remember we were doing it all the time we were there.
No, I wasn't doing it all the time. Like my car couldn't drive in the snow. Like it couldn't. I had a Toyota Corolla
with. We were
going
places in the snow, though.
What?
We were always going somewhere in the snow, though. Like, definitely, we were always going someplace. Like, back in those years.
Not me. I wasn't doing shit. Chances if
you
it
might
was
have been with us, not driving.
Yeah, I definitely would have maybe gotten a ride from somebody with all-wheel drive, but I definitely didn't go anywhere. Like when it was snow, I remember one time it was really snowy, and like all my friends were like, "Hey, fucking school's canceled, or like school it's a snow day. You want to go get sushi tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." And then I drove outside, and I like drove down my block, and I pressed the brakes, and I continued to move, and I was like, "Oh, this is a fascinating turn of events," and it went for a while. Until I crossed the intersection, went like I think about 3 yards down into the street across from the intersection. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go home.
Commuting to work, especially like the Midwest in the snow, it was pretty rough. But it had some glory moments, especially whenever you're going slow or whatever, and there's just like maybe like a van in front of you, probably just like a woman just going nursing job. You just see the back end of her car just kind of take out from her, and she's just kind of slowly. You just see her kind of slowly slide, and just like, damn.
Yeah.
That's gonna be bad.
Driving all-wheel drive in the snow is really kind of fun. It's because then it becomes like, okay, I can drive like a normal person. It just makes it so
you can drive in snow, but there's no. I mean, you can have fucking 7-wheel drive. If it's ice involved, you're fucked.
Yeah, ice is fucked.
You start planing, bro. You start doing that hydroplaning BS, and you're just like. You're just going. Yeah. You're just sliding eventually.
I like the snow though. I like the aesthetic of the snow. Too. I like
the way nighttime when it snows.
I like the seasons. I guess is more of it. I just like having the seasons.
I think the way the air feels and like the way that
crisp.
the air smells, like the crispness of it whenever it snows or whenever it's like really fresh and it's like, you know, the snow's not dirty yet. It looks like a fucking postcard. It's like, this is such a pleasant feeling.
Yeah, especially if you've got nothing to do. You're just like fucking, you're like, yep, that's my sign. It's kind of like a nice rainy day, just like nap all day or some shit. It's just like there's something great about the snow that's super peaceful, can be. I also find that whenever it snows, since nobody's doing anything, it's very like quiet, extremely quiet.
Yeah,
which is always
very
nice.
tranquil.
Yeah,
I love when the snow gets all sludgy. Because if anyone's lived in New York or been in New York during the winter, when everybody's driving around so much, the snow gets all black and sludgy.
Yeah,
and
it's
gross.
disgusting, fucking black.
It's so gross.
and that's the worst shit to drive in too. Is this like not even necessarily the powdery snow, but like the fucking sludge that has like people's oil, exhaust, like
Slop.
all. It's just it's fucked.
It's rough.
It's
Pig feet,
disgusting.
pretty much, dude. It's disgusting.
We got some questions over
let's hear
from
it.
some of our patrons over at patreon.com/Snark Tank. Come check it out if you're enjoying. This is a pretty Fidel Cashflow wrote in.
Oh,
I love that name so much. Hello, 3 Husketeers and Tim Burton schizophrenic dream creator. Do you have any stories about some of the most unhinged or intimidating or baffling characters you've met in your life? Mine is my ex-military stepdad who spent a large portion of his money on Nazi memorabilia, including
nice.
a Luger 9mm he threatened me with when I first met him.
A Luger? That's kind of dope.
that
sounds really nice.
That's a first impression that I've ever heard. That's a good one.
That is a good.
Damn.
That is a fucking good one.
The amount of people I've heard that have been collecting Nazi memorabilia, as like the amount of like people that say that they're World War II buffs, but they only collect Nazi memorabilia.
That's it.
Only
So
collect
suspect, dude.
You're always like, yeah, but where's the other side? There's other people that are like, yeah, I'm getting to it. It's just this stuff is awesome. You're like, all right, well.
This stuff is the most available, you know?
No, it's just I was just doing research. Is all it was. It's no big deal.
I don't agree with him or anything.
Yeah, it's like fascinating, but I don't like agree with it or anything. Yeah.
I'm just saying there's some points in this book. Like what? Like what's wrong? Like,
Just immediately dissolves into him being like, you should really give it a read. It's actually a good read. Like,
Yeah, just after days, of like,
yeah,
days later.
it's just memorabilia. It's got a bookmark in it though.
yeah.
Like, you reading this?
I mean,
No, I haven't met many people recently like that because I feel like the people that I meet now are very curated, almost not by design, but just sort of just the way shit kind of plays out. Because I only meet people at like VidCon or like at a friend's place where it's like, okay, these people know this person, or you know, this person's in my field or whatever. But like, I remember in high school, this is the same friend that I drove here with. We had a class. It was called Digital Design and Production, and it was literally just 3D modeling and stuff. And we sat 2 seats away from this kid who would work on his computer and he would stare intently at it and move the mouse, and he would clack on the keyboard, but the monitor would be off. And no one said anything about it ever. No one mentioned anything. No one acted like it was strange at all. The teacher never addressed it.
yeah, dude.
And
That little like the chosen one, dude. They're like, he's the Matrix.
no, and
Like,
he
looking at him like he's Keanu Reeves and shit. They're like, don't mess with him.
but he would like whisper things like, "Oh man." I was like just looking at a blank screen. It's like, "Oh man. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, okay." And
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'd be like, he's in the mainframe. I'm not even gonna fuck with him.
No, we didn't want to fuck with him, but we also couldn't help but laugh because we were just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? We would make jokes to each other, and we would just kind of laugh at it. And after we started making jokes, there was a period of time where he would just whisper, "Stop." And it was like, yo, what the fuck is happening?
Awesome would it be? How awesome would it be though if you did find out that he was like doing that thing like at the end of Matrix 3 when like he's like in a robot suit firing at like other robots, and he's like saving the universe, and he like gets out of it. And he's just
He's
like,
the
you're
chosen
welcome.
one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are like, kind of talking to yourself, loser. And he's like, you have no idea what I've done.
Saving
For this world.
He's
Yeah.
saving the
For you.
universe.
He's not. He's
Everyone who lives here.
he's fucking non-corporeal at that point. No, that's the one that sticks out to me because it's still such a vivid memory of just him whispering "Stop it" to his empty his off monitor in the middle of class, and no one said anything. His name, we called him Fat Ed, like internally. I don't know if that, I don't know. I have no idea what his name was.
Called him Fat Ed.
Not to him.
Fat
like
Ed.
whenever we would reference him after the fact, we would say like, "Oh, dude, let me tell you about what Fat Ed did."
I'm assuming he was fat.
A little bit. It was probably a little
'Cause
bean. I mean, it's like early high school, so you're still kind of an asshole for no good reason. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand that. We had a fat friend. I mean, he wasn't that fat, but he was. His name was Jason. Well, his name was Jason Yu or something. And this guy, we made a whole character for him, and he became like. We used to draw comics and stuff, and he became like just everything. But he was a good sport about it, though. Even though it was kind of mean, but he became like Fat You.
Yo, kids are always just like super.
Kids are
mean.
fucking ruthless.
Yeah, they're really.
Teenagers are assholes, bro.
The most baseline bullshit will be used against anybody as a child because they don't know the severity of it. Like you could hear like, oh, well, where's Derek at today or something. He's like, oh, his dad died or something. And you're like, oh, dude, what a fucking loser, dude. Doesn't have a dad. Like it just immediately derails into it where you're like, well, what the fuck, man? It's like, oh, I just mean like, I don't get along with my dad either. I'm not taking a day off school for it. Like, what the fuck? He's not in my life.
Little kids.
That reminds me of this dude. This dude having a stepdad. So and because of that, we're like, oh, you have two dads, fucking queer. And then we just ran with it.
That's such a reach, bro.
It's so stupid.
That is so dumb.
It makes no sense. But
I don't know if I can tell the story, but the deal is, it was a bad like high school thing. But I remember this girl. I won't say any names or anything, but her dad was convicted because he was basically molesting the Down syndrome girl that lived with him. Was the moral of the story. And I remember I told my friend this because it was such a fucking crazy story, and I was like, oh my god, dude, yeah, her dad's jealous. And my friend was like, oh yeah. And I'm assuming they thought that I was just joking, or like, it was one of those things, it's like you fib with your friends.
Yeah,
and
like
I remember
shock
came
humor.
up, yeah, where you're like, oh yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, sure. And she came up to our lunch table later, and he's like, hey guys, hey, be careful though, because her dad rapes retards, like in front of everybody. And we were, and I was like, and I like leaned over and I'm like, that wasn't a joke. That wasn't a joke. That wasn't a joke.
My God.
It's a real story. And and to me, I always look back and that reflects perfectly on like the mind state that I feel like 17-year-old people are in.
It's
of just like no filter. Like, yeah,
it is ruthless. But like with kids, with people
good,
people
bro.
that age though, like they do that with like kind of an intent to be mean. But they're
it's ruthless, yeah.
Yeah, but there are like kids when they're like 7 or like 6, they will say shit to you that's like not even, you can't even be mad.
It's an assessment. Is this an assessment?
It's literally just an assessment. Like I remember, like
it's honesty.
It's just honesty, but it's also creepy because you could tell they haven't really developed empathy yet, really, like entirely, because they're just like. I remember once at like, I can't remember what it was, like a family gathering of some kind, and like some friend of my parents had brought their kids or whatever, and one of them introduces themselves to me. He's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Oh, hi." And he just goes, "So your sister's dead, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes."
God.
And like I was like, I don't know how to react to that because I was like,
I hate how they stand too. Whenever a child
they
says
like
some
little
shit
like
that,
bouncing stand.
they're just like sitting there like looking at you. Like he was just like, "Why are you so much fatter than all the other people?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I mean, just
fuck
he's
you,
like,
bitch.
do you not?"
That's why.
He's like, "Do you just eat a lot?" Like really like baseline shit. And you're like, "Dude, damn, dude, what do you want?" And he's just like looking at you like a little fucking robot, just like.
Yeah, children
Damn.
at that age are very uncomfortable.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
That happened to my friend. We went to a swap meet, and he was like the biggest he's ever been, like just huge, like planet size huge. And this kid passing by and was like, "Oh, he's pregnant," and I was like, "Fuck."
Oh my god.
Dude,
And I was like, "That's fucked
you
up."
guys would not understand how. Oh my god! So I lost my mom when I was young, right? And then I remember there was one day that a bunch of kids in class teased me about my mom being dead all day. And I was just like,
It is insane.
And I didn't care that much. It was because I was like, I didn't really understand what it meant of not having your mom. I never had one. I was like, what the hell? Then I told my grandmother. My grandmother was like, I'll kill them. Where are they? I'll go there and I'll hit those kids for you. And then like, but also at the same time, kids have this weird thing where they don't understand how serious things are. I remember when I was walking past a playground when I was like 13 or 14, I saw two kids like fighting each other, and one kid uppercutted the kid and then grabbed both hands and tried to double uppercut him because he just wanted to do more damage. So he put both hands out, and he put both hands to the floor
impressive.
And tried to
like
swing
two fucking
up.
shurikens, man.
That's a combo I want to see in real life, actually.
He was just simply like, uppercuts hurt. I want to do double uppercut to hurt him more. And I was like, wow.
I like when kids say things that they've heard and they don't know what it means. When my second grade teacher, I was watching Tommy Boy, or it was either Black Sheep or Tommy Boy, one of those Chris Farley movies. And Gary Busey in the movie says, "What if I start a small fire in your mama's panties?" And I remember I told that to my second grade teacher, and she was like, "Why don't you go home and tell your mom what you just said and see what she says?" And my mom says, like, "That's hilarious," because I think she was like, she thought I was joking. So I went back the next day and she's like, "Well, what would she say?" And I was like, "She said it was really funny." And then at the next PTA meeting, she was like, "Your son keeps telling me to light a small fire in my panties. And it's disrupting class and stuff."
Oh my god!
It's like Jesus, good Lord.
I was that kid that was always terrified from PTA meetings, dog, because I was just the worst kid in class all the time. And I wasn't like I was rude. I was just always laughing at something ridiculous happening. And I couldn't stop. They'd be like, "That's enough, Mr. Jameson." I'd be like, "Get out of here!" And I'm like, "Okay." And I'd go there. I'd go to suspension for a fucking day because I'd keep laughing. They'd be like, "Do you understand what you did?" I did, but it was so funny.
You're not going to walk at graduation if you keep laughing during biology. You're like 18 years old.
That's what I was thinking.
Giggling, bro. Giggling my ass off in fucking health. Is that a penis?
So stupid. Yeah. Anyway, what do we got here? We got some. I don't even know what the hell just happened. We got some more questions, I guess. Lieutenant Lipton wrote in and said, "This one's for Papa Meat.
Oh.
How soon did your wife realize you are a crazy bastard? And what was her reaction to your content starting to take off?" You know what's funny? It's like, I remember one of the first times I was talking to you, I was like, you seem so calm compared to like the shit that you make.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's interesting to see like the difference in demeanor.
Well, it makes sense though.
No, it does make sense.
They say killers are quiet. Like if he was like a real like fucking like.
All right, dude. All right, guy. Damn.
How's it going, man?
I mean, I don't know. I've been dating my wife for close to like 10 years now, so I think she knew. I think that whenever I started making the content though that like really like blew up, I think it was just more so. I mean, I don't think she really likes it or anything. I think she was just like, cool. I don't really think it's anything insane. But it was definitely more of me being like, it was odd, like having the concepts and being like, I think it's gonna be good. Like whenever I did the Ronald McDonald one, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of like a POV thing of him like luring you to his like he's gonna drug you at the end, and like lures you into a well, and it's like gonna be ambiguous if it's like sexual or what's going on. And we're gonna use this Big Mac as like an analogy or like a metaphor for what he's saying, basically about you. And she was like, so it's like a rape thing. And I was like, well, I mean, like, no, not really, but I mean, I guess like you could get those vibes. And she's like, didn't you do like the other one, the rape? Like it was like it was more so like her being like, is your whole catalog like rape stuff? And I was like, damn, good point. I was like, I maybe, I don't know, I guess, but
I gotta change my flow up a little bit.
Yeah, I need to like figure out what's happening. I don't know, but yeah, I would say if anything, she's just she never watches it. We're very much like I feel even like with myself I find I do like deep dives on certain channels, like very obscure things like I went on like a deep dive of watching like a guy review lumberjack axes, And he's just like chopping wood. He's like, "Oh, this is good. This is a good one." Like it's like a weird type of dynamic. So I feel like I feel like we bond more over that than anything.
Yeah. That weird shit. Those rabbit holes on YouTube are so satisfying to go down because it's like you can just find some of the craziest shit.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
do you know? He kind of exploded, but I remember when he was like still very, very not in the public eye, and he might not even still be. He's still kind of like weird. But do you know who Buff Carell is?
It's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
Buff Carell is just this dude who he uploads I think like 3 covers a day. And
the dancing dude.
He dances and he's like buff and he has like big eyebrows. He's got a poster of himself on his wall. And it's just fascinating that he just has stuck with this exact formula for years consistently, despite it.
Though, man.
Yeah, it's you find
Reminds
these
me of
people.
classic YouTube.
Yeah, he's very, very much like 2008, 2009, like people just doing shit.
Yeah.
Just because they want to.
I was like looking at videos from like 2007 when it was nothing but basically sketch comedy, is what I felt like the majority of what was like big on the platform, and even just like the quality of those videos. It was just such a great nostalgia trip of like it's obviously just one kid was like holding the camera and they just like there's no crazy lighting. People didn't know what the fuck like lighting was. They didn't have like Casey Neistat or like Peter McKinnon being like, all right, 3-point light setup type. Nothing, none of that happened.
Yeah,
it was just there's something so just so great about knowing that it's just like a group of friends making shit. That's just like I feel like I miss nowadays.
Oh, totally.
Because now everybody has like every big person at least has like I feel like every like a team of editors or like the same thumbnail. Everybody just has their mouth open with like a Minecraft clip or like a fucking Warzone clip or something like that. It's it's like very formulaic. I mean, because like I feel like the science is there that it just works, like it's clickable. But I kind of just miss like the days of it was just like a screen grab from the fucking video or something.
Yeah.
Even
just when
something genuine about it.
Yeah, even just when people would. Even when they did get better at like lighting and like production, even when they started, I think when they started handing off their stuff to other editors, I feel like that was also like a thing that because I'm an editor primarily, like I would consider like that's where I think my skill set is, but I remember when I found out that like most of these people that you watch now are like they don't edit their own stuff, they just sort of hand it off. I'm like, what am I doing this wrong? Like I didn't know. It was just,
I think it's good. I think that the editing, and especially with comedic editing, even like with any kind of subject, there's such a finesse to timing, and like there's so much personality that goes into people's editing.
Absolutely.
Which sometimes you'll see people's videos like I think the longevity and like the consistency of like tone carries out on people who even if they have editors, they do final touches on it. And stuff like somebody still goes into Premiere or wherever Final Cut and still has like their own passover on the edit process versus like you'll see as channels get bigger, they'll pass it off to somebody else and it just like dilutes it or it's just kind of off.
Yeah,
nobody has that same has your brain the way you would look at it. You can train somebody, but I don't think you could ever get somebody to be just like the way you would do it exactly.
Yeah, it's that's kind of the thing for me. It's like it's really hard for me to just pass off stuff in the first place, but let alone like trying to get somebody to really mimic that style. Because I think a lot of people like really undervalue like the importance of like the style of an editor. Because like I remember when I was when Game Grumps was a thing. When Game Grumps was huge, when John and Aaron were doing Game Grumps, they had Barry editing for them, and it was like a very specific style of editing to the point where like anything that Barry would edit would be funny in the same way, despite it having completely different people attached to it, despite it having completely different personalities, despite it having completely different senses of humor, like acting as talent in the video. The video would still have this cohesive sense of like comedic timing and it's just fucking fascinating that that's even possible because it's
totally underutilized and honestly it's because and sometimes you have to take it as a compliment too whenever you work your ass off and they talk about the video but not the editing and it's just because it's so seamless that like a good example for me is like when I got into like Max Mofo and stuff on his Pokemon channel or whatever, it felt like even though I didn't really know who he was as a person, I was immediately hooked just by the way he paced certain clips, or even just the way that you boost certain segments and stuff. I think that it's a hard thing to find your hook as an editor.
Yeah, totally.
I agree. Yeah.
But all right, what do we got? We got Butter wrote in.
Nice.
He says, "This one's for the mighty meat man himself. What got you into animation and made you realize that it was the thing you wanted to do for a living? I love watching all your videos, and the first episode of Monster Lab was amazing."
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. Cool. Yeah. I mean, just late night. There was nothing I loved more than coming home from school and watching like Cartoon Network and stuff. It was a great escape.
Yeah.
I feel like. Also, I remember very vividly in middle school when you would meet up with your friends early on, no matter like what your interests were. I feel like everybody always talked about the new episode of like South Park or Family Guy, and there was like this bonding experience with like just like cartoons. I don't know. I was always fascinated with that. And I'd been drawing for a while. I didn't animate till I was like 19 or 20 when I was in college, but it was always something I wanted to do, but it was just, and also just to see your drawings come to life is cool. But definitely I would say just everything as a child growing up until this point has been like, finding out about Adult Swim, all sorts of stuff. It's just been, I feel like the natural progression to that point. And it was just something I was like, I could totally do this forever. It's cool. Yeah. It's fun. It's like it's just super satisfying. There's nothing more satisfying for me than like when you finish a cartoon, you're just like it's just, fuck. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's so good.
Yeah. I tried to animate a long time ago, but I can't draw. Like it just wasn't it. Like I can't draw anything. So it was just like
Chris.
Yeah, I disagree.
You can draw somewhat. I actually cannot draw. Like I almost
same.
didn't graduate high school because I wouldn't go to art class.
Right.
Like I really can't draw.
I can draw kind of, I guess, but like the thing that breaks my brain is like trying to make it move. Like that to me is like, or like position things differently. It's like I know how to draw this specific character in this specific pose, and that's about it. Like it was just gone. But I tried my hand at it a while ago, and it is fun to do.
It's
even if you're bad at it.
Drawing is awesome. The drawing is really fun. I wish it looked like something.
You wish you knew like there's just some people. It's just some people have a certain. I don't know what it's called. There is a term for it though, or the people that are able to draw well, like they have something that like someone like me doesn't have. Where like say when it comes to music, I have this thing called perfect pitch, where like maybe not anymore because my ears are fucked up. But like I can I don't need to learn music theory. Like I just know it. And so if I need to find harmonies or if I know where the next note is going, it's kind of how like Beethoven, I don't have perfect pitch in the sense of Beethoven, but like Beethoven, deaf as fuck, and then one of his best symphonies, just knowing in his head how everything's going to sound. And so that's how I write most of my shit, where I don't pick up my guitar until later. It's just let me do it so then I just don't forget, but I'm writing most of my shit in my head. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of artists, they just like they know like what they want to draw, and then they start drawing it, and then obviously you can get better with practice and stuff. But it's a thing that I can't do that. I know exactly what I want to draw, and it's nowhere even near. I'm like it just won't happen, and it's fucking dope like that.
I think a lot of it too comes from, regardless if it's drawing or whatever. I think it's whenever you're younger and you start to get into things, when you try something for the first time and you know that you're bad at it, but you're still intrigued or like. You find satisfaction out of being like, all right. Because everybody starts off as like, I mean, if you're drawing, you start off being a shitty artist, but there's something about it that still makes you want to be like, all right. And you like want to keep tackling it. Same with like being a musician, like picking up the guitar again and playing it, all that kind of stuff. And I think that like, that's just, the thing that I gravitated towards for sure.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'm partially colorblind. Like I'm the whole fucking spectrum. I just can't draw. Like drawing is not my thing.
The fates, the sisters of fate were just like, get that fucking sketchbook out of his hand type deal.
Yeah.
He will not be drawing.
Sweeney, I think the difference, like say you would have to do the whole, they say the 10,000 hour practice to be able to draw. You would have to take that route to where you would have to do it so many fucking times to where you finally get something down. Kind of like somebody who reads sheet music versus somebody who just picks up and can play pretty well. I think it's kind of like there's certain, like I know some musicians that like they were like a drummer. He was fantastic, but could not play, like, say, death metal drums, like that style of drums for shit. Because they're like, I don't know. I only learned this specific way. And I think you could learn specifically how to do something.
I could not.
I think you could. I think you could if you put your fucking, if you
I would
actually, how
have
many
to devote
hours have
my
you
life to
tried?
it. If I would have to devote my life to it. And
That's-
that's
well, yeah. Like,
that
I think
would
you have
scare
to,
me.
yeah.
Because imagine devoting your life. Like, look, this is not a joke. I have trouble drawing stick figures. Not a joke. Not a game. I have trouble drawing stick figures.
I can't accept that. I can't accept that.
Chris has seen me draw.
I can't accept that. I can't accept that. I can't accept that.
Do you have a paper and pen?
No, he's just gonna do.
my
He's just
God.
gonna fuck it up on purpose.
No, wait. I don't have paper and pen right now.
He draws a perfect face, like a Da Vinci
Fucking-
face or
like
something.
SpongeBob when he's fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
like the doodle. Like people were drawing Doodle Bob when that episode came out, and they were like, "Aren't you gonna draw it too, Kings?" And I was like, "No." They were like, "Why?" It's
so
gonna look
sad.
bad.
It's so
It's
sad.
gonna look bad. It's gonna-
Wait, I feel like you live in this society where when someone's just like, "What are you, a fucking loser? You can't draw." We're all drawing. We're all going after.
like-
We're all going to Tommy's house after school, and we're drawing. What are you gonna be there?
You can't.
Sorry,
come, Kingston,
guys,
you're
I can't.
dumb.
I can't draw.
Yeah. I don't know. It sucks because I feel like I can draw enough that I probably could have gotten good at it if I like actually tried. But like now it's like it's way too late.
I just think
it's way too late
your-
at this point.
I just think your bar's too high, dude. Because I
What?
think I think your bar's too high because I've seen some of your drawings. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, but it's specific.
You're too
Like
big
I
bug,
did.
dude.
So I did an animation like a long time ago when I was a kid. Like it was a Game Grumps animating, a Game Grumps animation. But I didn't have access to like a tablet of any kind. So I did
hell
it.
yeah.
I did it in Flash with a mouse.
That's gonna look good.
It's good. It looks great. It's still
great.
it's still on my it's still on my channel. If you look
So
up
insane.
like my name and probably Game Grumps animated, it's probably still there. Like I don't think I took it down, but
I can't. I wish.
it's you know it's a skill set that not everybody has. You know.
I wish I could think of something and make it appear on paper, because I can't draw it. I can't
do that
It's really
either.
bad.
But if somebody said like, "Hey, draw this, or I'm gonna fucking
Are you gonna
murder your
kill me?
entire family,"
I would start
like,
making
you-
calls to people, and I'd be like, "Look, I love you, but you're gone. You're
You just
done.
give up.
You're done. Also,
I like how it's like you don't even have to draw it good. He's just like, I just want you to draw it, and you're just like, damn, hey, I'm gone. I'm not even gonna put the pencil to the paper, dude. I can't. I'm done. There it is. I'm wrapping it
If
up.
somebody had your family hostage and they were like, listen, I'll let them go if you draw an isosceles triangle. Would you?
it's
be like-
not just the bigger angle, right, man? That's kind of hard, man. 3 lines.
Your family's
Out
like,
of my pay
try.
I'm looking at them
Please.
sorry.
like, I can't
Damn.
do this.
I gotta sign my lease in Florida. I can't be sitting here drawing isosceles triangles, dude.
Look, I'm not.
Bags are packed.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but I still can't accept that you can't draw a stick figure. That's just too much.
I'm
That's
really
too
bad
much
at
for-
drawing, dude.
That's too
I'm
much
really
for my
bad at
brain to
drawing.
handle. It's
Oh
like
my god,
no.
I'm really bad. I'll do a stream with MS Paint, and you can come by and you can watch me just fuck up.
No, MS Paint is different.
fuck
That's a
up.
mouse. Like drawing
It's
with
a
a mouse.
mouse.
Drawing
I
with
can't draw the fucking
The
mouse.
mouse probably gives me more control than my hands do. 'Cause my
Shut the
hands start
fuck up.
vibrating.
Shut up.
All right.
Shut up. That's
He's
no.
the elephant
Because I
Limb.
get
Move on.
no.
This is-
You
this
know
is
why?
upsetting.
You know
Just
why?
no
Let's go.
control of his fucking body.
You know why? Because what you call it. When I was little, this is her best story ever. It's the throwback to when I was a kid in school. When I was little, they were like, I don't want any lollipop trees drawn in this class, right?
what? What is that? What?
What the hell? Did you go to Candyland? Is that where you grew up?
No, a
class
lollipop
did
tree
you
is
grow
pretty much a little tree where like it has a base, and instead of drawing leaves, you draw like a round thing, which would be
Yeah,
all the
sort of.
leaves on the top of the tree.
right.
So then I was like, I don't know how to draw a tree. So I drew the tree and I went up there, I showed to everybody, and my freaking first grade teacher went, snatched it from me. He's like, this is a lollipop tree. It's exactly what I asked people not to do. And I was like, oh. And she made me feel so stupid. In front of the whole class, I never drew
Oh, so she
again.
ruined you.
She fucking hurt me, dude.
There was an
It's like,
abusive first grade teacher that had an obsession with leaves and that has ruined your ability.
Probably her fucking husband was killed by leaves or some shit, and then now she's like, "Fuck this." Look, I can say I had a seventh grade art teacher, and I wanted to attack her because of how She was so condescending, and one thing that I was trying to explain to her, she was like, okay, there was a house, like a wooden house above her, like a some type of figure or something. And she's like, draw this house. And I drew it to the best of my abilities. I thought I did it pretty well. And then she was like, no, it's a little off. It's off here. And I'm like, ma'am, I don't think you understand that it looks totally different from where you're fucking sitting. Like this is not like the way she was trying to correct it. I think she was trying to correct it in the way she saw it from the angle that she saw it at. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm not retarded. Like I tried to convince her, and then she was like, nope, you're she basically tried to make me feel stupid. And I'm like,
ma'am,
no,
I'm not retarded.
Like I was
You
trying
are
to
aware that I am not.
You couldn't convince her.
You're aware, ma'am. You're aware. I'm a normal student. I thought you were gonna say like she was condescending in the sense if you're like yeah, it's a bug. She's like, oh, is it a bug? Like I would love to be a teacher like that.
No.
Oh wow, that looks good, and like look over to the person sitting next to you and like.
She was in the way of she was like oh, so I guess you're the one with the art degree, kind of like she was very like trying to just belittle you. That's what I should say.
You guys had the most like petty fucking like you had like the most petty like first grade teachers I've ever heard in my fucking life.
She was so fucked
She
up, man.
snapped at me, dude. I remember that day like it was yesterday, dude. She got it. She started yelling, and I was like, "Why are you yelling?" And I know she was a teacher in the Bronx, New York. Probably way too many terrible kids in her class. But I wasn't one of those kids. I was just trying to learn.
That's unnecessary. That's pretty.
At me,
Yeah, no, I mean,
like,
both of these are unnecessary type deal. You're children. I mean, like, good. It's like I signed up for art 2 because I wanted to be with my friend Greg. He's in the fucking back. He's like, hey, like, you're giving me a trouble. I'm like, I'm just trying to survive out here. Goddamn, talking about your art degree and shit to like a 7-year-old. Like, what kind of shit is that?
That is really wild. That sucks though. You could have been like the next Chuck Jones.
I might have had to tell you. You never know, dude.
You could have been like. There's a possibility that this one bitch just completely altered history.
Like the gods up in the clouds, like, and so another artist falls.
You know what's crazy? Art makes me happy. Drawing makes me very happy. I just wish I knew what the fuck I was creating.
If it makes you happy, just start. Just begin.
Because
it's
you
get
funny.
joy
It's
out
like,
of it.
It's funny. It's like I'm just gonna draw a picture or something, and then I'm like, oh man, here goes those fucking lollipop trees again, and I can't fucking draw.
Do you wake up? Do you?
Someone's like, draw me a tree, Kingston, and I'm like, I
I
can't do it. I can't.
He has a moleskin sketchbook on his on his desk, and he just looks at it every morning, and he just like gets up and just like looks at it. He's just like,
it's completely empty, but every time he opens it, there's lollipop trees on every single page.
If he can't fucking draw a stick figure, that's probably what's happening. The fucking trauma.
I get nervous, dude.
And he's like,
it is, dude.
he remembers the fucking lollipop trees.
Wait,
You're shaking.
I wish I could find a piece of paper. I wish I could find a piece of paper right now. I'm gonna draw something for you guys. You guys will be like, yo, you're fucking horrible, man.
I'm gonna throw lollipops at you.
I think even if somebody drew something and showed it to me, and if it was bad, I still don't think I'd be like, that's horrible.
Well,
You should.
Well, that's the animator in you, I think.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, just in general, like if someone showed, like if someone went up to me and they're like, we're at Guitar Center, and they're like, hey, like I've never played guitar before, and they played something, like does it benefit me to be like, dude, you're bad? It's like, yeah, dude, I've never fucking played guitar before.
That's a good point.
If somebody, yeah.
It's a good point, but it's a good point in the correct setting like that. If one of your friends kind of comes up to you and he's like randomly like, oh, look at this shit art, you're gonna be like, what?
Oh, it's gonna be that's the best thing ever. I had a friend. He's like, I've never drawn. He's like, it's been cool living with. I was a buddy of mine. He like was a home security installation guy. And he's like, I don't know. I just picked up some graphite on the way home. I was like, you picked up graphite on the way home? He's like, yeah, check this out. And it was like a self-portrait, and it was so bad that I was like, we have to get this framed and put into our like. This is. He's like, it's just so good. His like face is all fucked. That's why bad art is so good. Whatever you like, if somebody like draws something photorealistic, it's like, hi, I have a camera. You know, like it's impressive, but it's like. It's just so good.
I totally get it. It's I remember like when I was
100%.
I remember in high school, like me and my friends at lunch, we would like I would always bring my sketchbook, or I would always bring like a big notebook that was way bigger than it was way bigger than the class needed to be. So I would like go to the middle of the notebook and we'd be like, all right, what are we gonna do? So we would like draw, and I would like draw like the body, and then like I would pass it over, and then my friends would draw like the face, and then like we would like add onto it until it was just this Cronenbergian cacophony of just nonsense. And that shit was so fun. I wish I still had those drawings, because I bet that there was some pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Some
I was
pretty
such a
good
fucking
things.
nerd too, where you're sitting there and you like name it a beast or something. Like,
Yeah.
You're all trying really hard on it. It's like, yeah, I mean, he did the scales. The scales look cool. I did the paws. The paws look good. All right, but yeah, and it's like you name a beast and shit, and you're just like, it's like an inner like circle type deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yo,
dare
they were
stand
gonna
up to the
create this.
Oramacon.
I actually have the vast majority of my drawings from middle school.
Oh, damn.
They're,
Lucky.
They're in and I was actually talking about this very recent because I'm always thinking I should throw these away because they're Here's the thing, they're so fucked up out of context. So if you don't know, like, say what these things are, like for example, there's like we turned a lot of people into our school as characters. We made them like part of stories or comics. We would draw shit, and like our woodshop teacher, Mr. Arnold, old ass fossil looking dude. And we made him into some like pervert dude, like lusting after kids. We made him into a predator, and that was his character. And like, so there's like a drawing of this guy with a video camera, like filming fucking like, you know, kids in in the boys' locker room and shit. Like
So this is middle school?
Yes, this is fucking.
You're
We're
a
13
fucking
years, 12 or 13 years old.
Some bright
It's-
imaginations.
It's hilarious, dude. If you look at it, and if you knew the context, we're making fun of the teacher, right? Like it's like. To me, it's funny. Like, of course, as an adult, it's like calling somebody a pedophile is not funny, right? But as a kid, calling some guy that clearly he's not, but then making him a character like that, and then it was like hilarious. But if you look at it out of context, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
happening here? Like, you
I was
don't
never
understand.
that witty. I was never that witty. I just was such a tryhard. Like trying
Oh,
to
dude.
draw like a comic book quality level of like a barbarian, like deep lore shit. And you're like 16, like 15 or 16, and you're trying to like act like you can like construct like this universe and shit. You're like showing it to people.
That's
You're like
me
showing it to people at
still.
school. You're like, what do you think? You like show it to them. It's like just like just the most obscene fucking thing. All these names that
Hands
have
you a
no
fuck-
cultural relevance. It's like ha 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 la ha la. His cool character. He's a barbarian prince. His dad was killed by orcs. You're like, okay.
Into this picture,
Perfect.
and he has this whole world. Do you like this picture?
Do you like
This is a picture about this is Ragnar. He's 35 years old. He's a half-blood prince, not Harry Potter. Nothing
Harry
to do with
Potter.
that world, all right?
He gets tons of pussy and he smokes weed. That's his main arc. And he's awesome. And his best friend's a dog.
He's partially
Really
divorced.
cute corgi.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
wanna find?
You keeping it very straight. It's like yeah, it's supposed to be badass. It's awesome.
It's
it's
supposed to
really
be.
cool.
It's supposed to be badass.
It's supposed to be
How is it
badass.
not
So
badass to
don't
you,
laugh, or else I'm gonna get really offended.
I
Everyone
just
starts
thought of
laughing,
something
you
that-
storm out.
Yeah, I just fucking kick down the door.
I'm gonna look for some shit in that because it's a backpack full of shit. I'm gonna look for something that I can find that's like not too crazy. But I'm hoping I can find the one I'm thinking about is what we would take like NBA teams or NFL teams and we would turn them into something fucked up and then we would make their insignia or whatever. So like whatever it was like the like instead of the New York Giants, it was like the New York Giant Dicks, and then it would be like a giant dick on their helmet or something, or the Atlanta Cocks or something like that, and we would draw all their insignias, and it became like a huge thing. Like I hope I can find that because that's like actually kind of makes sense for a kid, you know. But some of the other shit that I have, like this parody of IHOP, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I can show people this because it's like it's too fucking weird. It's just.
Is this International House of Pussy?
It's just like
Is this National House of Pussy?
it's
or
not
penis?
pussy. It's not pussy.
Yeah.
It's semen.
My mom had a line spiral notebook of. I remember I used to draw myself as like as if I was in the Dragon Ball Z universe when I was like 7.
Oh, we all
I was
did
like
that.
this-
I think
I was
anybody
like
who's
this, I was
drawn
like this,
has done
yeah,
that.
this little fucking tater tot chubby kid. And I'm like have like giant pecs, like 6-pack abs and shit.
Hell yeah.
And I would just like write my name in the top corner, and be like, nice, like that's me.
Sick.
Sick. I can't wait to meet Goku later. That's gonna be dope.
I
Like,
bet-
turn the page.
That's gonna be dope. I think anybody who's drawn or taken any interest in that has probably done that. Especially like young guys who were our age at that time. Like definitely. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like I definitely have Dragon Balls. Like I even I was like, I'm not buff. I'm not making myself buff. like even I had that level of just like.
Realism.
I feel like when I was drawing, I was like, I'm gonna get there. But if I ever showed it to anybody, I'd be like, oh, it's like random characters. Like every page says Hunter on the top of it. That's odd. Well, that is my name. I don't know. That's kind of odd. I don't know what these characters are.
I was just signing it because I drew it. Like.
Yeah, it's like I'm an artist, dude. Like it's like an aligned fucking notebook.
I gotta do my waterprint, man.
It's like branding, dude. Come on.
I bet my parents probably still have a lot of those drawings because they're the kind of people who like. I bet if I went home and I was like, hey, do you have any of my drawings? They would pull out. They would wheel. It would be like the Matrix where all those like weapons came out of nowhere and like all these filing cabinets would be like, all right, well. This is first grade, and this is like second grade, and it's like I bet
Chris really had a lot of time on his hands.
I just like
all these files.
I definitely drew a lot, like way more than I took notes.
Your parents kept that for you. There was one time my grandmother almost threw away my degree.
Jesus.
She almost threw away the one that I earned. I was like, Grandma, I earned that. She was like,
the one
really?
piece of paper that's important.
Maybe you should have put it away somewhere. I was like, it was in a filing cabinet in the basement.
It's framed and on the wall.
What possessed you to be like, you know what? I'm cleaning out the basement right now. And I was like, Grandma, you almost threw it away. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, so sorry.
Yeah, that's what a filing cabinet is for. That's when you put something away, that's usually where it goes. That's what away is.
Yeah.
He was just like, you should have put it somewhere safe. And I was like, it was in a basement in a cabinet. Where's safer than that?
I like how it's put it somewhere safe. Don't put it too close by the windows.
Oh man.
Hide it away. Put it somewhere safe.
We got two more over here.
Oh, okay.
Let's
And
do
we
it.
can wrap things up. Maximo Redacted Roni says, hello, gang +1. This question can be all of you, except maybe Sweeney. Why? How long? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Editing.
How long does it
Probably.
take to make what you make, and why is it that people always feel the need to one up their past work, almost like it's a requirement? Me and Derek have talked at length about this. I think it's a little bit more interesting to hear, like, from an animation perspective, like how long it takes, because you're really like remarkably productive for, like, because I know animation on YouTube is like super hard, and it's been like not necessarily been the most rewarding platform for it for a long time. So the fact that you're able to like consistently put shit out that's entertaining and well done
It blows my mind, dude. Like every 2 weeks you have something new out, and it's like, what the? How are you doing?
Oh,
this?
and before like you answer this, we watched like before we started recording, I got in here to record, we watched the Cat in the Hat one, and I'm still like super impressed by all of the different faces that you managed to squeeze into that video.
Oh god, that was such a disgusting. I hate that that's usually the project where I'm like I'm most proud. That's one of the first ones I'm like actually pretty proud of. I was so surprised I got that done on time. I was like, that was so fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that, well, one, it takes, like I said, I try to do 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, just because I think that's what the algorithm likes, and I think that's just the game you have to play at this point.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my stuff, too, is very economical. We go with, like, puppet rigs and stuff. A lot of those old animators that were, like, the big stuff in, like, 2014 or 2015 or even 2012 or through that era was traditional. Like, they took a long time, and it was something as well where you would be rewarded as well for those kinds of projects, so it made a lot more sense to be able to craft this beautiful thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, as the channel's grown, more money's come in, so I mean, one of the biggest things I've learned is there's a difference between, I guess, like what you were saying of like giving somebody else an edit to edit one of your videos. Learning how to be able to like step back and not have that kind of like chip on your shoulder of being like, oh, I'm going to do all of this. And then it's just like, it's me. Like that way, whenever I upload these things, people can be like, well, he's crazy. That's like an initial thought of like being like, well, I don't have any animators or something. It's just all me. But being able to like work with people that are way more talented than I am, and like being able to like become more of like a directorial role as well as doing like the fun designs and like the lip sync animation and all that stuff has become more mainstream. And we just have like, with the team we have, and I just have a good system down as well, but definitely 2 weeks. And I think you always try to one up yourself as well, because it's like, what's the point if not? Like I don't think there's never a reason to ever make base level stuff, regardless of whatever kind of endeavor you're doing. I feel like you're always trying to strive for something greater. I assume like with Twitch streamers, it must be like, how can we, how do I evolve? How do I get more viewers? YouTube, it's always how can I reel in more people, or how do I outdo what I've done before so it doesn't get stale? Is always important, because whenever you're working on this many projects and you're spending this much time, I feel like you want to make sure that it's worth it, and that also creatively you feel fulfilled. So when it's done and people react to it and stuff, it's a very satisfying feeling. Even if you have to go out of your comfort zone, it's important for sure. Than just feeling like it's like, I know this works, so I'm going to keep doing it. I think it's good to be like, I know this works, but how can I skew it in a way to maybe be able to introduce new things along the line? Yeah. Which was the whole reason, too, of having a Monster Lab, which isn't a parody. It's like an original series. And releasing those bi-monthly now is hopefully just new content for the channel that still feels similar, but it's something that's just not a parody, and it's like something that hopefully people over time can appreciate and look forward to and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know. Like, I have a weird relationship with the one up your past, one up everything that you've done before, because at a certain point, it gets really like toxic to your own productivity. Because I know that I've especially this past year, where like there have been years prior where I was whenever I would make a video, I would like, all right, where am I gonna go? Okay, like I'm gonna go to the middle of Los Angeles, and like I'll dress in a suit and I'll like walk in the middle of a fountain in like public and shit. And it was like fun to do that shit, even though I was like super uncomfortable, or like go out and just be loud and obnoxious in public and like get people's reactions. But like this year, with like everybody just inside and just the ability to travel and like do that kind of shit really kind of subdued. It's like, fuck. Now I'm in a position where like I've kind of set up. I've set up like a quality staircase where like I'm just kind of stuck at this level now where I can't really go outside and do the crazy shit that I could have done a year ago. And then it starts to feel like, oh, should I even bother making anything? The answer is obviously yes. You should still make shit.
I totally understand what you mean, though, of like the toxic relationship that comes with trying to one-up yourself, because at a point, I don't think you're ever truly one-upping yourself. I mean, you're making something.
It's the drive to do it.
You're progressing forward, and like there is the drive to want to do that, but it can't. I mean, like I get so horribly depressed, like just being like, is this good or something? But I think it's like something you have to realize over time too, is that like even if like the step forward that you're taking isn't like monumental and you're not seeing these crazy numbers, it's still like valuable to know that like these like things that you're accomplishing are a part of like a greater end goal, which is something I try to do. But it's hard because it's something that's easier said than done, because then you like upload something and then there's the fucking YouTube analytics thing that like judges you, like ranks your videos 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
So you like upload it, you're like, I think this is good, and it's like number 8, and it's just like, yeah, people aren't fucking with this. Good job. you really bit the bullet on that one, idiot. And you're like, all right, well, cool, dude. So yeah, it's just about you're human.
Yeah.
It's okay to fuck up.
And let's see, what do we got? We have 3 questions to choose from here. Hey boss, can you follow me on Twitter, Rodin? He says, hi guys. He says, I have questions for just you, Mr. Meat. What is your what kind of meat is in your canyon, and how much meat is in said canyon, and why the name, I think is what he's trying to say. Is that something that you even is that like a secret? You want to keep that close to the chest, or is that because I have my theories?
Yeah, no, it's I've said it before. It was a name generator.
Oh, really?
Back in like 2017, I think it was one of those things where it's like, say some things about yourself, and I think I put like overweight, meat lover, all this stuff, and I just said Meat Canyon. And then I just got an artist to I tried to get a tattoo of what a meat canyon would look like.
Oh,
and it's like different kinds of chicken and steak and eggs and bacon and stuff, and it's like in a ravine and there's a sky. So I don't know. I nice. Just if that gives you any visual.
How many do you have? A lot of tattoos? Are you like a tattoo dude? Or like...
Yeah, I mean, I got quite a bit.
I wanted to get a sleeve, but like
I want to get a tattoo as well.
Just one?
Yeah,
what is it gonna be?
A Spider-Man tattoo, bro. Spider-Man.
It's gonna be your cock.
Nah, I can't fit that on my body. But I'll get a tattoo of Spider-Man.
You should get a tattoo.
It was such a lame response.
That was a
I'm
really
so
lame
mad
response.
at myself. That teacher was right. I am useless.
We'll edit. I'll edit it out. It's okay.
No, that would have been.
No,
it would have been
don't
shit
let them
if
make
it,
fun of me.
If that was
Let them make
quippy,
fun of me.
I wouldn't have been impressed if it was quippy. That was way better.
You should. You should get a tattoo of Spider-Man standing, like it's Spider-Man's body, but like slightly like scaled down across your entire back.
Could you imagine Spider-Man? Spider-Man is standing straight up.
Yeah, he's not doing any fancy poses or anything. It's just like a stock like photo of Spider-Man.
He's
and it just says
ridiculous.
Spider-Man at the bottom and like regular.
It says Spider-Man. It says Spider-Man when there's a little bit of skin on my body.
You're like, yeah, that's my superhero right there. That's my guy.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
That's
he's my favorite. Yeah,
I think you have to get shot Uncle Ben on your back.
I was thinking about Bastion Head Joel too.
That'd be, damn, ooh,
A
that's
tattoo
pretty
of
good.
Joel's head bashed in.
All right.
And then the blood is dripping down your arm. That's so terrible.
Ninja,
pretty good.
what is this? Ninja Fox wrote, and he says, "What up, boys in Meat Canyon? This is this might not be an interesting question for all, but I was wondering if Hunter ever plans on making a sort of behind the scenes on your animations. I've been getting into digital art, and your style has kind of inspired me to do some short animation of my own. Wow, look at that." I'd love to see your process, even if it's just for a one-off video. Love everything you guys do. Keep up the depravity. So that's Ninja Fox.
Yeah, I've tried to do it in the past. It's just, it seems like it's kind of one of those things where you feel like, and like you say it out loud, you're like, oh, it wouldn't be, it's not, it's easy. We would just film some stuff. But it's like, then secretly, it's just like, oh my God, this is so much fucking work. Like,
yeah.
Like you're in a mindset, I'm like pissed off trying to do something, having to read you something, and then I'm being like, I look at my camera on my desk, I'm like, I'm not gonna film this next video. I'll do it on the next one, and it's just been like that forever. But I think I'm moving to Austin with the Flash Kids guys, and we do the Cream Crew podcast, and I think we're gonna try to like feed off each other's energy, and it'll be easier because it's so boring. Like there's no really the only thing fun about animation is when you're like, this is what the guy's gonna look like, isn't that crazy? And then it's just me for like 100 hours just like sitting at a fucking Cintiq just being like, okay, like there's nothing really interesting about it. So Flash Kids always did a really good behind the scenes stuff, and I'd really like to try to like maybe follow in that kind of vein. They did some really fun stuff back in the day, so I would like to see if I can't do it for sure, because I'd like to upload more live action content to break up like the monotony of like content creation that I have going on right now. It's always nice to like finish this and then like not focus on like an animation, but like play around with some live action footage and stuff. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I think people have asked that question a lot to a lot of content creators, and it's like I don't think people understand how kind of boring it really is in a lot of ways. Like I think it's interesting whenever you look at behind the scenes from like a studio or like
when it's so grand, like it's like this huge production type deal.
Yeah, because you have a lot of different people to talk to, and you have like different perspectives on the same things, and like maybe you have people who are talking to each other who are like, maybe I think this should be it. It's like, no, I think this is how it should go, and then like maybe there's a conversation about like what to do. But like when you're just kind of like your own person and you're just sort of doing things on yourself, even with like a really small team, like those conversations aren't really that interesting. They're not really that long.
Also, nobody's life is just like a jackass thing where you're just like, you think of these weird funny bits and stuff, and the video's funny, but I like to take cat naps. I like to drink tea.
Yeah.
I'll take a nice long bath. Like that would be like it's really nothing too exciting behind it, and I come in and look at my screen for a while. Like I feel like there's just sometimes I feel like what has warranted for me not doing it is there's just not enough footage. And like I tried doing one where I was like I tried doing one where I was like, I'm gonna go on a hike, and here in Portland there's just like it's just really pretty, and I'm like, that'd be kind of cool backdrop, I guess, but then it's like an uncomfortable public vlogging, and I just
exactly.
I can't fucking
I
do
couldn't
that.
do it, man.
And then I'm like gasping for air. I have this face mask on. I'm walking, and I'm like, so I'm thinking about doing this Mr. Beast video. Like I'm like, this is just embarrassing. Like I'm gonna like have a heart attack on camera, and then like people are gonna hear me fucking wheezing talking about a Mr. Beast parody or something like that. So it's
it's just a different like I don't know, because I remember once I was like I think I might do it behind the scenes for a video, but then it's like my focus is split between like
Very.
recording like what I need to record and recording stuff for like behind the scenes. It's like also it's just like I remember I edited one all the way through and I was like, this sucks. This is like so not boring.
I think it's because it's so much to pack into one thing too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the little miscellaneous things actually add up. Like I was thinking that if I ever did it again, it would be like script writing breakdown of like I'm gonna think of an idea and I'm gonna like I guess show you how I put it down actually on paper like this idea.
Yeah.
Or then like a character design thing. I think maybe breaking it down into sections might be better than trying to actually like encapsulate like a whole behind the scenes for like trying to get it all into one video because I just don't think that. Yeah, it's usually boring.
Or
Usually
even
super
just
boring.
the middle ground too that I found kind of recently was just like maybe I'll just stream while I'm working. You know?
I've been loving my Twitch streams. I hardly ever promote it, and it's just like such a chill. Like,
yeah.
Mr. Sweeney's
it.
rated me a couple times. Thank you for that again.
I try.
Thank you.
I love streaming, dude. It's such a decompressing thing for me.
It is cool. It's very cool, especially when your chat is super chill. On YouTube, I've tried to stream on
Yeah.
YouTube a couple times, and it's just the fucking worst. It's just too much. Like when I see those people like streaming like 20,000 people, that shit gives me an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm super down with these like these small lobbies, and it's just people like chilling, and even like watching other people, oddly enough, conversate in my own chat with each other. It's oddly relaxing.
It's something weird about, like weirdly cool about it. You're like, whoa, they're like bonding in here. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, especially when
It's cool.
you start up your stream again and people are saying hi to each other and stuff. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's just endearing. It's a cool thing. Super new to me too, but it's been really fun.
Sometimes I'll feel like an idiot though because then I'll go to the chat and I'll read out like a chat thing that's just a response to somebody else and they'll be like, oh shit, that wasn't for me. Whoops.
Oh yeah, they're in the
trying
middle of
to-
a conversation.
Yeah, because I'm trying to like
oh.
multitask and like you know.
I've
Try to
seen
jump back in the game real quick. Like, oh man, yeah, like I was saying, this boss is really difficult. And you gotta use a lot of techniques to stop him.
It is cool
I've
though.
seen
talking to you guys.
I've seen some insane plays from Mr. Chris on his Twitch stream on the old Halo.
Yeah.
Just popping off
Yeah.
shots, and he's like, "How am I doing this?" Just hopping around. Ah, man, I love this game. Never seen a man happier to play Halo than watching Chris on his stream.
It's all I have.
Fantastic. It's all I. Oh god.
Oh man.
It's all I have. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think that we're at about 2 hours. So that's
Yeah, that flew by, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
No,
Don't
of
even
course,
worry
man.
about
It's
it, dude.
it's always a pleasure. I've been wanting to have more people on in general, but like I always get like really daunted by the idea of just like, oh my god, all right, this is going to be a good thing for the show. It's going to be fun, but it's also like slightly different than what we've been doing for the last several weeks. So it's like always slightly out of my comfort
yeah.
zone. Also also just like trying to like.
I hate reaching out to people.
That's the thing too. It's like
It's
I
so
always
intimidating, dude.
I always feel like an
Yeah.
asshole. I always feel
Especially when
like
you're like, you want to come on my, you want to like talk or hang out or something like that, and it's like really not a big deal. It's like, yeah, I mean, sure, it's chill, but it feels like, just like, did I come off as like needy or did I like some weird thing? It's like some weird
he
fucking
likes
thing.
me.
Yeah, I
Hope
hope
he
exactly.
really likes me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Hope he calls me back.
I get off the call and I'm like, I call my mom. It was great, type deal. He likes me. He likes me, type deal. Yeah.
yeah, it's like very very subtle imposter syndrome where it's like, oh
Yeah,
man,
very.
It's weird.
It's very weird. But yeah, that's going to be our show. So if you liked what you heard today, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/the Snark Tank. We've got merch over at snarktankmerch.com. You know the fucking drill at this point. And if you head over to the Patreon right now, you can get all sorts of lovely little tiers, lovely little gifts. We got $1 a month gets you early access to every episode. $5 gets you a question read on the show. $10 gets you access to our Discord server, and $25 gets your name dyslexically read at the end of the show,
Yes.
which I will now do. I have to open up.
Oh my god, yeah, we gotta fuck up the settings.
Oh no, are you guys?
I was gonna ask why the fuck it was like people were getting like abducted by aliens here. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
You always gotta fuck it up, man.
It's kind of a ritual. It's kind of a ritual at this point.
They fuck up their settings at the end credits. All right, you got to count me down, Sween.
3, 2, 1.
All right, these are all the $25 patrons. Melania's cheesy, dirty, Cheeto-dusted dingus. Fucking kill me.
God damn it.
Subscribe to Dr. Purple on YouTube. Sweeney tossed my salad after my miscarriage to make
didn't
me
do
feel
shit.
better. Why are these your names? Sure, you know what I've always wondered? These people clearly must donate to other Patreons, right? So like these
Sure.
these
hope.
cancerous names are just in random unsuspecting people's. Oh man, Holman Brown 98, Diego Andre Hernandez. Hey boss, can you follow me on Twitter, please? Ryan Lucchesi. I'm charging one letter every week to try to give a changing. Oh, you son of a bitch!
He
What?
got you.
I'm changing one letter every week to try to give Chris a brain aneurysm. But he wrote charging this week. You fucking.
That was clever.
I hate this guy.
Clever son of a bitch.
I'm not a fan of this guy. Bacon
I'm
for
gone.
days.
I'm gone. I'm not even on the screen anymore.
I am not a fan of this man.
Sloshy Scout,
Guys, I'm not even on
Atrasoni,
screen
Keith
anymore.
David, Shot Uncle Ben. Please check out my podcast.
Nice.
It's called How Did We Even Get Here? Spider Clan, the white supremacist Spider-Man. You thought Japanese name that I can't pronounce, but it was really me, Leroy Jenkins. Matthew Barrett Clark. Chris, we know you have a femboy folder. Don't lie. Hard Hat Skydiver. Chris has a high voice for a lesbian. Absolute Wagon. Chris is now an empty husk of meat driven by the army of 101 bananas. You people are psychotic. All
maniacs,
All
dude.
new, all different. Paul Joseph Watson after he learned the Donkey Kong ground pound. Monkey Monk, I was cock-blocked by a turtle. Alaskan oilfield trash. Chris would be a Twinkie if he gave into his urges. Little short dick. Lieutenant Lipton, not an FBI agent. Juan Punchman, Marcus Shorten, Mr. Fuck, Abusi the Time Sweeper, Papa Nurgle, Neil Breen, and Lacey Green explain sex scenes to Jill Stein. I think you think Stein is pronounced Steen, so I'll give that to you. Danny DeVito's
That's
perfectly
hot.
preserved penis. Derek's Hispanic sex slave. Murder ascended. David Connolly, the dyslexic that feels Chris's pain. Dunderhead. Can I say this?
Yeah.
What is it? How racy is it?
Is it
I
the
think
N-word?
it's fine. Happy Negroids from the cold void.
I think you can say that, but you shouldn't say it too often.
Probably
You
not.
gotta, it depends on the group you're around, you know?
Should probably
Depends on your relationship with the people.
I'm too lazy to edit that out. Lobotomized Jesus is my drooling divine savior. Heiko, 7-year-old fetus. Moto zealot. A bunch of Russian syllables that I can't pronounce. Hiroshima spicy mushrooms. Slippery Steve and the stinky sticky silicone sex toy Cyber Monday blowout sale.
Derek, you're giving me a headache, bro.
Twizzler
I'm sorry,
Spine,
man.
a level 1 cleric, Derek's unyielding sex drive, Dummy Thick Dave, Heartless Wretch, aka the Black Man from Staten Island, Uncle Tony's Pizzeria and Abortion Clinic, where today's loss is tomorrow's sauce, Yummy Yummy Yummy, come
So
inside my
great.
tummy, Jolly Old Dipshit, Emperor Palpatine, Hugger Derek, the movie theater assistant manager, Carson Jones, Etherean, Derek's upping his brightness because he wishes he was white.
Oh,
Oh, fuck.
He got
Turn
you.
that shit back to normal quick.
man.
yeah,
Fuck
Turn that shit to
this,
default
bro.
fast, bro.
That
Fuck
was
this. It's
That
done.
fucking loser.
fucking
the Praetorian
done.
Hunter, Deflated Left Ass Cheek, All Hands on Dick, Arrow, Sunny Chance, Melphis 1, El Culebron, Richter 86, and King of Haphazard. That is everybody. Good lord.
That is,
Heyo.
this is a mess.
Hey, fuck that other. Fuck that
little
dude.
dollar signs after each read.
Yeah.
It's nice. That's crazy. Nice little deal.
Yeah, it's not a.
Very
It's
nice.
not
This is our podcast. This is what we do.
This is our audience. Thanks to guys. Thanks to guys. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Thanks guys. Bye.
Fuck you, little bitch.